Hello again, Struckwap. Welcome back to another evening of streaming with me. Today I will be doing a bit of Warhammer Chaosbane, some invasions, so anyone who might have some questions or need some assistance, do let me know. I'm also gonna post it in in the Discord because there have been some new people who might need some advice on how to make their builds, how to farm wood, maybe even might want some wood because I've got some to give away. Just a moment, folks. I'm gonna log in a moment. Just a second. Just gotta post that I'm live. Okay, almost ready. Almost ready. So today I will start with Conrad because last time I did not play Conrad. So I think it's good to play him a bit. He's a good what. He deserves some playtime. To me, it just gets a bit boring playing invasions with him for the easy invasions. For the easy ones, it gets a bit boring sometimes, but I'm gonna do a few runs with him, and then after that I'm gonna do some more with others. So again, if anyone needs some assistance for certain relic hunts or invasions, do let me know. I can come and help you out. The same would go for anyone who might want some of the items I've stashed for giving away to people. They may not be meta min-maxed items, but they would be green at least. So if you're starting out and are having trouble finishing a set and are missing a piece or just need a specific weapon, I might have it. Let's see what I've got here. So almost everything here in this chest is for giving away, if not everything. Things that probably would be what people would like are those amulets, those medals that give you wood quality. I've got a lot of those stashed up. So let's see, how far have I been with this guy? I've not been pushing this guy much when it comes to invasions. As you can see, I've pushed some here, I've pushed some here. I think I'm gonna go for those nodes here and then move on to something else. And am I using the... I think this was my easy mode build. This is the easy mode build because it's got Sigmar's Rat and it's got wood quality and everything. So with Sigmar's Rat I can just walk and the enemies would die. And that's why I use this one for this setup. Normally I don't use Sigmar's Rat, but for pushing the easier stuff it does work well. So let's see how well it would work in Chaos 2. Maybe Chaos 2 was where I started switching to a different build. I mean, I can always switch to the Holy Shotgun self-healing setup with Sigmar's Bastion, but this one was a fun one. Yeah, you can see what I mean by the easy mode, because Most of them just die from those AoEs. Of course, you can always try and just use something else, but I want to be moving and killing as I move, like this. So this is only rank 19, that's why the wood quality probably is not worth it until I push a bit further. What's the wood quality now? Let's see, just a moment. Wood quality is only 4.7 thousand, but to new players that might seem like a lot. Knowing that you can get up to 6-7 thousand when you push the invasions further, you do kind of feel in the end that this is a bit low. But it's very good for starter wood quality. So I'm gonna play a few matches with Conrad, then I'm gonna switch to someone else. No, we can return. We can return. We killed the boss. Let's do that. Let's do the next one. If he dropped something, I would have resurrected, but since he didn't drop, I didn't see a reason to. Wait, did it not count? Oh, actually, no, it did count. I did this one just now. So let's do the Prague ones. So we still don't know exactly when the 5th character would be coming, the Dwarven Engineer, in this game. But it's probably sometime next month. That's just me guessing, but it's probably sometime next month. We'll see whether it will coincide with Wolsen's launch or whether it will be closer to the end of the month. Time will tell, but another thing I'm stoked about is this class coming to that game as well. I may not be spending that much time in Chaosbane, but when the 5th class releases, I'm definitely gonna spend some time dedicating streams and builds to that new class. And she seems like a fun one. I mean, I haven't even seen her in gameplay, but from what we were hearing and from what we know, she would be as a class. Would be something I'm looking forward to for sure. Alright, let's keep moving. I'm gonna leave those behind. Oh, well, that happens sometimes if I'm not careful.
Feel the wrath of my herald.
Hey, whoa, B93, I am back to the game. I am back to the game for a bit today. Just a little bit of Chaosbane, just pushing some stuff. The other games I play and stream, one of them is kind of in an NDA, so I cannot play and stream Torchlight 3, but I will be making a video for Torchlight 3 as soon as I finish the story. I'm kind of close to finishing it, but I have to sleep, so I was playing all night yesterday after my stream, Torchlight 3, and yeah, Torchlight 3 is amazing. And they bumped the drop rates and everything there, and the new quest is amazing. And I will be sharing all that information maybe tomorrow, if I manage to complete the story later today. But this game is, again, I'm kind of excited for that new class coming. I wish we would know some more news about it, when it's coming, some previews of skills, maybe some gifs or videos or whatever of the new class in Chaosbane would be great to see. And since Wosen is currently only available in offline only mode, I will be playing it every now and then in offline, but I'd rather play the other games, use this downtime of Wosen to play some of the other stuff, to stream some of the other stuff. Maybe I can do some Borderlands 3 tomorrow. Actually, I will be doing some Borderlands 3 tomorrow. It is kind of decided. I do have a kind of, yeah, the perfect timing now to do some Chaosbane and Borderlands in the next few days. But yeah, let's do some invasions. Let's see if we can get some better wood. So far, have not seen a green drop today, but that's my second map, so that's completely normal. Since this is a speed farming, speed running build, it's not as tanky as other setups might be. And it's not as DPS-y. It's more for the speed and utility of using this AoE while I run. So this one's made to cater towards completing easier content quicker. And by easier content I mean, first, this is only rank 19 invasion. It's nowhere near rank 30 something, 40 something. And I'm only doing those Chaos 2 nodes. If I were to try and do something like those nodes, I'm gonna have to change the build. For now, I'm gonna just try and push this, and maybe switch to another character after that. Because I just want to be showing more than just the same one character through the whole stream. So I'm gonna be playing all four classes throughout this stream. I'm gonna be playing Conrad, then maybe a little bit of Bragi, then Elessa, then the Mage. Normally I start with the Mage or Bragi, but today I would actually finish with the Mage. But at any time, if I do get a request, hey, show me this class, hey, show me this build, I don't mind changing. I don't mind on the next map I do to change as per requested. Like going back on Conrad later in the stream if someone wants to see him again, I wouldn't mind doing that. Okay, eat my meteors. Oh, don't die. Conrad, don't die. Wait, oh yeah, I remember what's happening. I'm not using my amulet that heals me when using the god skill. Because I'm wearing the wood farm, the wood find amulet. That explains why when I'm expecting to heal myself with the holy shotgun, it's not working. Because I don't wear the god skills heal you amulet at the moment. I'm going for a more magic find setup with this. I'm also wearing my magic find set instead of my main pushing set. So this is the one I was talking about that gives me wood quality based on crit chance. And I'm using those rings because they give me crit chance and wood quality. Not because they're good rings, but it's the highest crit chance I've got on rings. As you can see, the other ones are pretty tragic when it comes to crit chance. I mean, this one seems fine. 9.6 crit chance, and it also gives some cooldown reduction. So it's just 1%, 0.1% more on this one. And the cooldown reduction seems the same. And probably I should be using this one. But then I'm gonna have to bless it. Let's bless it with crit chance, with the crit chance combo. So this is the combo for crit chance. More crit damage, less damage. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do it this way. Let's get more flat damage instead of more crit damage. So with this one we get more damage instead of crit damage. The crit chance is always the same, so okay, I think this is fine. 1.9 crit chance added. But definitely not a ring you would want to be using for hard content, because it just doesn't do much for Conrad. But as you can see, my other rings are pretty shitty. I mean, I've been having such terrible luck when it comes to rings. This one's nice, but again, less crit chance, no wood quality on it. So for my farming set I don't want it, but for another set, this ring I just hovered over, ring of fortification I think it was, seems like a winner. Right, let's push it all the way to the boss, to the creature.
Feel the wrath of my herald. Feel the wrath of my herald.
Alright, next. Leave the zone and start the next one. This one's completed. By the way, if someone doesn't know it, if a zone is completed, you can just go ahead and do leave instead of going to the end. If you're doing invasions, because on relic hunts, on this mode here, relic hunts, there is a good relic chest at the end with wood. But on invasions, the only invasion with relic chest is this one here. We can do it. Actually, let's do it. Let me show you what I mean. This is the only invasion that gives you a red chest. Unfortunately, it's a very hard node. It's not Chaos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So it's not gonna give you that good wood quality. In order to make this a good node to speed farm, you need at least rank 46 invasions. On rank 46 invasions, this would give you some very good wood quality. Currently I'm getting probably 4000, maybe even 3.7. I'm gonna check. So I'm getting 4.1 thousand with my wood farming set, which is not bad at all, but it's nowhere near, let's say 6,000 or close to 7,000 when you push the invasions further. Since this is rank 19 only. But when you go to rank 28 or 37 or 46, That's 1,000, not 1,000, but that's 900 for each of those I said, compared to this. So compared to this, 28 would be another 9,000 wood quality, then add another 9,000 for 36 on top of that, 37, and then for 46 add another 9,000 on top of the other two. So that's like what, 2,700 more than what I've got right now. With 2,700 more, you can see it's gonna be 6,900, like close to 7,000 when we get the buff. Because there's another buff you get after you stay in the map without dying for a long time. That's 300 more, so that's gonna be over 7,000 wood quality on this map if I were doing rank 46 invasions. And that's a lot. I mean, you can get green items on 2,500 wood quality, but that's very rare. I think anything above 3.5 thousand wood quality is fine for getting green items, and it would take between 1 and 5-6 maps to get a green. If you're doing something around 3.5 thousand wood quality. Sometimes you might get very unlucky if the RNG gods are not on your side, but I think normally it would take 5, 6, 7 maps maximum to get one green item with 3.5 thousand wood quality. But I think wood quality is very messy. Sometimes I get more green items on 4,000 wood quality maps compared to 7,000 ones. So there's that as well.
Feel the wrath of my herald.
Let's open some chests, maybe we could get lucky from those. They're not big chests, so not expecting much from those big chests. My favorite chests are the ones with the 4 big nodes. And Chemic Dispatch version is the latest on Steam. So Dispatch version is the Tomb Kings, DLC. It is already available on consoles and on PC. On January the 21st they released it on console. And for PC it came in December. So there haven't been anything since then. Soon we're getting a 5th character class, a Dwarven Engineer. And hello Sinful Duck, welcome back, nice to see you again. How have you been, folks, that I see every day here? Nice to see you. So if anyone wants to ask something about what I'm doing, some builds, etc., I could show you. If you want gear, all of this green gear in my warehouse, it may not be meta gear, but it is green gear. So if you're a new player and you need some help, you need some wood, hit me up. I've got gear for every class. It may not be the best item, but it's still gonna give you some extra stats, and maybe you're missing a piece for a certain set, so you might need that piece to complete it to get the set bonus. So I've got some stuff. I mean, just ask if you need something. I don't have min-maxed items to give away. Maybe I do have some. Oh shit, I forgot one thing. The note I just did was the one that had the invasion, uh, the chest that normally is found in relic hunts. I wanted to show it, I forgot. Well, regardless of that, we gotta do the next map, and both of those are Norska, so expect me dying on those maps. Expect me dying because that's an annoying type of enemies. The Act 3 enemies. Most of them have very annoying one-shotty skills as you go further up the difficulties, and if you're playing a farming build, not a pushing defensive build like I normally do, you might want to avoid this enemy type, the Norska enemy type. Because yeah, a lot of them have this mechanic where they would charge at you, and they have some annoying armor piercing skills that do a lot of damage. And now then there was this healer dude that healed the enemies right before they died. Normally I would play a setup that uses this item. Where did it go? It's probably on. Well, I can't show it. I'm gonna show it like this. I normally use this one. Heals when a god skill is used. So that means I'm going to get healed whenever I use this skill, Sigmar's Bastion. And whenever I do this pew pew, this pew pew, each one of those pews would heal me 20% of my HP. This is normally what people use when they're pushing harder content on Conrad. It's just an amazing synergy, but since now I'm using the wood quality one, I'm a bit more squishy, and I'm normally not using Sigmar's Rat. Normally I would use this god skill, Sigmar's Blessing, to give me extra block chance and damage. Or was it this one? Can't remember if it was this one or that one.
Feel the wrath of my herald.
Shit, look at that, how they're pulling me. They're just throwing me around like a ragdoll. But yeah, I'm gonna do a few more maps on this dude and then I'm gonna go on another class. So if you wanna see the other classes, don't worry, I won't be playing just this guy. This guy is the least fun to play for me. I know some people enjoy him and that he seems very fun to them, but for me, when it comes to the meta setup, this guy has one of the more boring metas. Even though it's my favorite set, the way it needs to be played to push harder content is so boring for me. This Holy Justice setup. And I'm a big fan of the Pistolier build, but the Pistolier build has its downsides when pushing. It's very squishy unless you make it a bit more tanky, but it can do a lot of damage. But my favorite set is the one for this Holy Justice thing, the one I'm playing right now. This is my favorite set. But the meta build I've made, that EZD, one of the people I met through the game, helped me fill the blanks of. I saw him playing that build and I tried to replicate it. This build, the Holy Justice build, it's kind of boring for me to play. I mean, I like this set, but the build, the way it needs to be played, I'm not a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Pistolier though. I'm not a big fan of needing to get hit to get cooldown reduction. But since the build is kind of lazy man's, you can just play it as a bunker. You stay in one place and you just keep spamming your skills and you keep healing while spamming your skills, and you have enough damage reduction to not die and to tank almost everything. This is kind of how this guy with a meta build is played. It might seem a bit boring to some because you're just standing there in one place pushing some buttons. Maybe a bit too easy, but of course this build, not this build, but this thing I'm talking about, the setup I'm talking about, the Holy Justice setup, the meta setup, not the one I'm playing right now, has its downsides. When it's a map with increased cooldowns or map with permanent decrease of armor, it's gonna be a bit difficult, even for a strong setup as the Holy Justice one.
the wrath of my herald.
Alright, let's go kill the boss. I think I know where he is. I think he's here. So I'm gonna do one more map and then push to another character. And I can switch later back to this guy. But I wanna show you some Bragi. Bragi is so fun. Oh, there we go. Green. Greeny green. Now I don't feel bad about not playing this dude much. And it's a grudge settler, not bad. I love grudge settlers. They're good for some setups. They're good. Of course, using something like what was the name, Blade of Vengeance, would be a good option when you're getting hit, when you're expecting to get hit and to block. But if you think you can't keep the Blade of Vengeance stacks, Grudge Setter is a great option for extra damage to taunted enemies. And you can keep taunting pretty easily with the low cooldown. Alright, one more map on this guy, then we're switching to the Slayer, to the dual wielding dwarf. Yeah, I can't wait for Wilson. I mean, I probably should not have started this game with this guy, but last time I played Invasions, I did not play with this guy. That's why I wanted to play a bit of Wilson. If you want something more fast-paced, less boring, I should show you some of the other characters. This one is not the best one for that. So this is a labyrinth without enemies. It's a shifting labyrinth, but there is a solution. It's right, up, up, down, up. Rudu, as I call it, Rudu. Right, up, up, down, up. So we did right, we did up, we did the second up, now it's down. And now it's up. It is kind of once you learn it, it's easy to. Some people might end up spending a lot of time here. But the first time I did this, I really had no idea how to solve it. Since I don't count this as a real map, I'm just gonna do this one and before moving on to another class. And you can see my HP keeps constantly dropping. This is the invasion mode. It has something called corruption, and you unlock corruption resistance to decrease it. Like the hardest nodes on the invasions would take 10% of your HP per second, and with up to 60% corruption resistance, you can make this down to 4% HP loss per second. That's why getting some health regeneration in the items or some healing skills would always be good. Or something like this shield that I'm using that makes it drop potions more often and decreases the cooldown of the potion would be nice. There's items that can allow you to decrease the cooldown of the potion but decrease the healing rate as well. So there's that as an option. And my health gets decreased. In this map, my health decreases over time, so the faster I complete it, the better it would be. So I'm gonna try and push it. I think I know where. I think it's probably this way. Yeah, I don't understand this as well, but I can tell you one reason why that could be. Gamers Workshop sets the prices that they want the studios to sell for, because Gamers Workshop wants their cut. And if someone tries to price it lower, probably they're not gonna be making much money. That's what I've heard. I can't confirm whether that is true, but that's what some people have told me about Warhammer games being expensive. Not just this one, but any Warhammer game being kind of a bit too much on the pricing. I mean, this game when it's 60, 50, 70% off seems kind of okay. Maybe if you get it for 20, $25, 20, 25 euro, maybe it's fine. But 50 euro, no, not yet, not yet. It's not there yet. It's definitely not there yet. I mean, if you can get it on a great sale around Easter, if you can get it on a great sale around winter sales, etc., probably it's fine. But you're not gonna get as much fun as from Wosen. But it's the only Warhammer fantasy, or the only Age of Sigmar, hack and slash for PC. So at the moment it's got this going on for it. You've got Vermintide for first person, and for isometric hack and slash you have this one. So there's not much choice in this universe at the moment. Yeah, Wosen can be great on sales, I mean... I know many people have gotten Wosen cheap. I got mine in the early alpha days when it was still named Umbra. I think shortly after the Kickstarter ended, maybe they changed the name when I got it. I didn't get it on Kickstarter, I got it as soon as it came out on Steam when it comes to Wosen. So I'm not sure what the price was back then. I really can't remember what the price was when I got it, but it wasn't something that big. Maybe I got it for the full price it had on Steam, can't remember, but I've seen some very good sales on Wosen. I'm excited about the 5th class of this game though. I really can't wait to see Dwarven Engineer, because most of the classes are some of the more boring ones in the universe. I mean, a Stormcast Eternal would be great, but maybe too OP. Maybe too OP to have a Stormcast Eternal.
Feel the wrath of my herald.
Slayer is fine. Slayer is fine, but some of the builds, he's very limited in this game. In this game, they've limited the builds to kind of Strike of the Anvil. That's why it's boring, because the meta setup is kind of exactly the same with very slight changes. If you want to be pushing, if you want to be strong, it doesn't matter which set you're doing. It's still gonna be something with Strike of the Anvil and maybe some cooldown reduction based setup, regardless whether it's Call to Oath that you're using or not. I'm going on Slayer after this, by the way. I already said I'm gonna do Slayer after Conrad, then Elessa, and then the Mage. And Slayer is one of the more fun setups, but it gets boring if you're playing the same build all over. Well, I'm excited on about one thing for Wosen. They released today information about another skill. They released information about the ranged necro pets, and we see up to 4 necro pets from the archers, and so far we've seen 2 melee zombies. I'm assuming the melee zombies can go higher than 2, so that means we could have at least 8 zombies if the melee ones can go up to 8 as well. My guess is we're gonna have 2 melee with a modifier to go up to 4, then 2 ranged with a modifier to go up to 4 as well. Actually, I'm gonna show you this, guys. It might be a bit off topic. I'm gonna quickly change to Bragi, and while I'm changing, I am going to show you what I'm talking about the newly released information for Wosen. Just a moment, just to save the images, saving images, previews, Bulwark of Dawn, and then Hunting Swarm. Where did it go? Here. And in the meantime, let's start loading up. Change hero, Bragi, play. So, okay, I think I'm ready to show that. Just gotta load it up. Where is it? So, first of all, as I was talking about woes and pets, woes and necro, this is it. This is, you can see, he has summoned, or she, whomever is playing, four rangers, four ranger zombies at the same time. Or was that two melee and two ranger? It's kind of hard to tell if all of them are ranged. I think those two are melee and those two are ranged. So actually that's a bit misleading. That is definitely a bit misleading because the first time I saw it, I thought it's four ranged zombies, but it is actually just two ranged. So probably the limit will be four. Probably the limit will be four. We'll see. I mean, for now I can just guess whether there's gonna be more than two of each summon. The other one is this one, the feeding swarm. This is what I'm really excited about in Wilson, and I think if they make them strong enough, this would be a very good setup. Having a Necro with turrets probably would be very strong. And the other thing that got released today is this modifier where Bulwark of Down now deals damage instead of just healing and providing buffs for us. Alright, enough woes and back to Warhammer Chaosbane. So this is what I'm running at the moment. Ancestor's Gift for invulnerability and to use stuff without consuming energy. Here 3 cooldown reduction, here a bit of damage and crit damage. And over here I'm going for this counterattack damage, for this passive that gives me crit damage based on counterattack. Here a little bit more counterattack damage, and here a little bit more crit damage on the way. And I'm getting some cooldown reduction. You can see this setup has 13% cooldown reduction. If your gear can afford it, you can get this one for extra 10% damage. This one would give you better damage than this one. This one is 20% counterattack damage and it's not pet. And you can see this one can grow. Currently I get 365 crit damage, but if I were to do that, just give me a moment. I'm just gonna get my rage up to max stacks. So now I'm at 20 stacks, and at 20 stacks this Q is 980 crit damage already from 300 and something. So you can see how it grows. And that's good crit damage. And that's on my farming build, by the way. This is my farming build. This is not my pushing build. This is the build where I walk and the enemies would die just for by me walking around them. Wait, this one is missing a piece. Last song, last song, last song. Oh, never mind, it's not missing a piece. Okay, let's check my inventory. 80 out of 80. I need to get rid of some items. And again, if someone needs some gear, I've got a lot to give away. If you're on Steam, all that green gear here in the warehouse is for giving away. If you're missing a certain setup. I mean, in Wolsen, turrets would definitely be some of the meta. But I'm assuming it won't be just turrets being the meta in Wolsen. I think there will be different things, not just turrets, when it comes to what the best would be in Wolsen. I'm gonna have to get rid of some junk here that I don't need. I'm gonna quickly throw some stuff away. So I'm gonna grab this ring, regardless for which class it is, and then I'm gonna grab this ring and sell them. Just a moment, guys, I just wanna make room. There's inventory for wood if it drops. That's why I'm kind of getting rid of some items here. Some items that I may not need. Oh, insatiable with cooldown reduction but no crit chance. The other one I've got here is cooldown crit chance. I'm gonna have to sell this axe, because I really don't have room to keep every single piece of wood that drops. Cooldown crit damage, armor piercing cooldown damage, HP. Okay, I've got four slots. Just a moment. So let's chug in some of the stuff I'm not using into the warehouse. I'm gonna take this one and sell it. I'm gonna take this one and sell it. I don't even know what class this is about. I think what Chaosbane also needs to do is distinguish which ring is for which class. So maybe if it's an invasion ring and it's only usable by a certain class, it needs to show it with some sort of icon. The best thing it can do is, if you go here into manage players, you can use this same icon and put that somewhere in the corner of the ring to know that this ring is for Bragi. Each class has a different one, a different crest. So this crest here is for Bragi. Using that onto the item would make it easy to tell that this is a ring that drops for Bragi, because they look exactly the same. Regardless on what character I got it, it would look exactly the same if it's the same invasion ring. Okay, now I think I can sell all of that shit. And I've got myself some more room to get rid of items. Mm, that's a tough choice, but yeah, I'm gonna put this in the warehouse. So I've got 7 rooms for items. Two-hand paladin would be a bit difficult, because first of all, paladins are known to be mostly with sword and shield or mace and shield, like sword and board, like one-handed shield. But two-handed paladin would be fun. I definitely would love to have bulwark of down with a two-hander as a modifier. Getting bulwark of down on a two-hander would be amazing. And I've actually gotten it once, but it wasn't a good item. So now I'm gonna be doing this Chaos 3 node. So this would be a bit more difficult than what I normally do. Expect me dying every now and then.
Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
The way I've set this build is for farming. This is my farming setup. So you can see I'm using Pendant of Taunting, and I'm using some axes like this one, the Impatient one, which I normally don't use. Normally I use a Grudge Holder and Ultimate Carnage. Ultimate Carnage is a great axe because it gives so much damage, and the Grudge Holder is just it gives you up to 10,000 counterattack damage. 10,000 counterattack damage equals 400 crit damage when we're using this thing here. And I'm using the Impatient one for speedrunning, so I can kill an elite and get my cooldowns reset because I'm whacking cooldown reduction. I don't have enough cooldown reduction from my items, so the Impatient one for speedrunning seems like an okay choice. Shit! And this is what you should avoid doing. Dodging into some missiles. Wait, is that invulnerable? Yeah, fuck, that explains why they're not dying right away. Uh, After they reach a certain threshold, they become invulnerable on this map. This map has one of the worst, believe me, worst endgame map modifiers that you can see in a hack and slash ARPG. It just really needs a complete rework of the whole endgame modifier system, and it needs to be more creative than permanently reducing people's armor, permanently reducing people's HP. Reducing people's cooldowns is fine. It is annoying, but it's fine. Reducing people's cooldowns could be something that just forces people into using slightly uh, less damagey and more utility approach. And that's not too bad, but when it comes to reducing people's armor permanently, this is just a bullshit modifier that does not belong in this game, and it's one of the things that could piss people off. I mean, you can probably tell I'm one of the people who got pissed off by modifiers like that existing in the game. So reducing people's HP permanently and the armor permanently does not seem like a good way to make it. Look at Wolsen. Wolsen reduces the resistances of the enemies, increases the damage of the enemies, increases the movement speed of the enemies, decreases the damage of certain things for the players like projectile damage decrease and things like that. So Wolsen definitely has nailed down doing endgame modifiers, and I think Chaosbane is at the other end of the spectrum. They kind of added too many annoying ones. I'm just gonna quickly show you some modifiers. So you have some idea of what I'm talking about. Like, look at the red text. Red text here is what I mean. And the annoying ones are things like this one. Hero's armor reduces over time. Then where is the other one? Each time a hero uses a potion, their maximum health is permanently reduced. Hero's armor reduces over time, so here they actually have two of those modifiers. Uh, then again, hero's maximum health decreases over time. For some builds, skill cooldowns increased are a bane, and this is annoying, but it is fine. I mean, you can deal with it. Now I'm gonna do one such map and I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm not gonna have any choice rather than picking a different approach. When skill cooldowns are increased, what you want is to either change the build to something different, but if you're pushing something difficult, most other builds might have problems on certain classes if you're not doing the meta. And this game has limited builds that are meta because the balancing is not great, if any. Every character class has some sort of a meta build that can be used to push some of the harder content, but for some classes the meta is very limited. For Conrad, you can kind of do one setup with different sets with barely changing much to it. And for this guy, it's kind of the same. You can do what I'm doing right now in regards to active skills and passives, except I'm currently using my wood farming. I'm not using my meta setup right now. But the basic of it is you want to be using something that uses Strike of the Anvil. So some people may not like having to use cooldown based builds for the meta. Having to rely that much on cooldown reduction, crit chance and all of that. Normally it would be something like this, what I would be doing. So Strike of the Anvil. It doesn't matter which one is here, then you have Ancestor's Gift, then you have Let's do it like this. Then you have Code to Oath. This one can be changed for this one as well. That one's not a bad choice. This gives you extra health regeneration, and this is actually pretty strong when doing invasions with that health regeneration. It helps you combat it. And if you combine this god skill with the other god skill with a pendant that heals you when using god skills, you're gonna have a little bit more survivability. Uh, was that the pendant? Yeah, that was it. You're gonna have a little bit more survivability. And you want this one, Rage Watts, longer range, is more effective. This one is not bad. I mean, you do not want those two unless you're farming. So here you would probably want something like where was it? Oh, the crit chance is always nice, but instead of the wood quality, you can probably go for something different. This one is not bad, but it's not gonna be that great. Alternatively, another thing you can try would be Deep Gashes is fine, but I wouldn't suggest it. So you have this one, stunned enemies take more damage, stunning an enemy also inflicts bleeding. You have this one, bleeding deals more damage, each attack has a chance to stun bleeding enemies. You have this one, and you can experiment. I mean, I have videos, crit monster is what I call the build. I have videos about how to set it up, and it's very flexible. It's very flexible because it can be used with any set. You can see I'm kind of using it, similar versions on each class. This is what we've got here on this one. So you can see this one is set up in one way, and then this one is kind of similar with slight differences. This one is like this. So you can see I've kind of went for almost the same build with slight differences. But let's go back to my farming setup. Because the farming setup, I love it because of this set. Grand Safari Aura that deals more damage the lower the player's health. All damage from fire skills is increased. So the lower our health, the more damage the fire aura would do. And in invasion we constantly lose HP. But even if I keep my HP at the maximum, it's still good enough. I'm just gonna quickly check something. Which one would be better? I mean, that one with counter-attack damage is amazing. Little less armor, more HP. I'm not sure why I wasn't wearing this in the first place. The other one, I'm not gonna sell it, I'm gonna check it into my warehouse. And yeah guys, again, if you want gear for this game, I can hook you up with some items for all classes. Everything in my warehouse is wood I'm saving for other people, not for me. So let's do this one. Each time I use a potion, my HP is permanently reduced. This is one of those more annoying ones I was telling you about.
Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
Don't die, don't die. Shit, I used the potion. I should not have used the potion. At least when we die, this permanently reduced HP gets removed from us. So when you die, at least you can kind of negate this. But every time you die, you lose 10% of your HP. 10% of your gold. So it's not that great dying. see already having certain difficulty with some enemies. This one is overpowered, that enemy with the poison trail. The poison trail can two-shot you if you let it, if you stay inside it for 2 ticks. Yeah, you can play Wolsen offline. I was playing some Wolsen offline yesterday. I was doing some story mode, streaming. I was experimenting with certain things in the story that I normally don't do. When I was testing to take it slow and to experiment and see how much XP I can get if I clear out all the enemies from the maps I've been doing. Until a certain point I was actually doing it, then I stopped doing it. I stopped clearing everything. I just wanted to see if it's really worth it in the first few levels to instead of rushing the story, to try and clear out all enemies in the map. And it's definitely better to try and rush the story, skip some of the enemies on the way, because in the end you're gonna get more XP that way, by faster XP. Just wanted to see though, I wanted to see for myself. But the way they made it, I think, is if you clear every enemy you meet along your journey in the story. This, by the way, is rank 37 invasion, kills 4, so it's 7192 wood quality that I'm doing right now. I like checking when I get a drop to see what wood quality it was on. So yeah, by what we see in the beta, if you kill every enemy on the way in every map you do, you can probably reach level 20 by the time you're done with the story, with the beta of Wolsen. And my guess is 3 acts would mean up to level 55-60, even if you don't kill every enemy. Maybe 60 if you kill every enemy, maybe 55 if you don't. We're gonna have to wait and see, but that's what I guess Wolsen would be. You do the story, you end up being level 50 something, and then you start doing endgame until 90. Torchlight 3 is what I was playing yesterday out away from my stream while I was offline. And I'm almost done with the story. I'm like around level 40 something in Torchlight 3. And I'm almost done with the story, so there's gonna be a huge grind gap between level 100 and I think we're gonna be level 45, 6, maximum 50 if you take it slow, if you complete the story in Torchlight 3. Currently I read a lot of people are having trouble logging in the EU servers on Steam. So thankfully I play Torchlight since it's with an NDA. I cannot stream it. I was gonna stream as soon as the update 10 launched with the new class, and the new class is so much fun. I can't wait to share my thoughts after I complete the game with you guys. I won't be able to share some footage and videos and screenshots etc. from Torchlight 3, but I can share from the alpha some thoughts. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna upload a video with my thoughts, what I think about the new class, all the changes, what the changes are, how the new relics feel. So after I complete the story, I'm gonna try and play a bit with the new relic, the cold one. I'm currently playing with the whitening, and the whitening torchlight 3 relic. The what was it called? I keep forgetting the name. But yeah, there's 2 new ones. One with cold, one with whitening. I'm playing with the new class, the sharpshooter, and she has such fun mechanics. She kind of has those buffs, skills that are kind of buffs or summons etc. that you use, and by using those skills in the 1-3, you're buffing the skills on the other. So she has buffs and then she has damage skills. So, for example, I'm summoning some goblins, and that's giving me some sort of a different chance to summon more goblins by using my other skills, my damage skills. Or, for example, I'm using a dashing, teleported kind of attack, which makes me immune to damage and untargetable by the enemies, like invisible, for a few seconds until I attack. And this also gives me 50% crit chance for my other skill tree. So you kind of need to make a balance. And there's another skill which is a debuff to the enemies, which makes them take more damage, like makes them vulnerable. And it also makes you, for your next 3 shots with your damage skills, fire 3 extra projectiles. And then there's another skill. I mean, there's so many things. I wish I could show you all of those, but I can't. Yeah, not everyone is a fan of Torchlight's universe art style. The art style is a bit more on the more casual side. It's more with the cell shading, more animated, more cartoon looking. So yeah, I know many people don't like this, and this is the main reason why they don't play the game. And this is the great thing about the market currently. Currently we have games like Grim Dawn and Wosen and Chaosbane that are a bit grim and dark. And then we have games like Torchlight that are not as dark as Path of Exile or Diablo or Wosen or Grim Dawn. That are a bit more brighter, a bit more humorous, where that doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's still um, taking you on a journey, on a story where you have the epic hero, you wanna save the frontiers or whatever. So it's definitely not everyone's game, but I like this. I like that there's different games for different people currently on the market. Not everyone is trying to be the same like the others. There's some variety of games being made. So if you don't want things with that much gore, and what Torchlight would achieve is probably it's gonna be great on consoles like the Switch. If it gets released on the Switch on launch or after launch, it's gonna make a lot of sales on that console. I think Torchlight 3 is probably a best game for the Twitch. It's gonna release on consoles, and they've already confirmed PS and Xbox for Torchlight 3, but not right away. Probably on launch there's gonna be PC, PS, and Xbox, and maybe other consoles might follow. What? Speaking of Chaosbane, by the way, let's go back to Chaosbane. What you can do on Chaosbane is couch co-op. I can have 3 of my friends come to my house and get controllers, USB controllers, and then we can do this. We can have 4 people playing on the same computer. So, for example, if you have a huge TV in your house hooked up to your computer and you have some buddies coming over, you can all 4 of you together play on the same account, on the same PC. So they're gonna be playing with the characters you got created. They can create new ones or they can play with yours, but they're not using their own accounts. So there's that. You're using the characters from the account you've got. But it's pretty fun having the option to just select multiple players. One of you can be on the keyboard, another on the controller, so there's that as well. Oh, we've already killed enough, so I can just go and kill the creature. Oh no, I wanna check for wood here. Maybe there's a big chest. Wow, no chest at all. So there's one of those things that are good about Chaosbane, is that you can play it on the same console, on the same machine, same PC, as a friend or a family member or whatever, and you're still gonna get some fun out of it. which not many ARPGs offer this. Yeah, what I'm playing right now is my farming setup, so it's a bit on the squishy side. I'm maxing out my wood quality. You can see my wood quality now is 7.1 thousand. This can go up to 7.4. If I didn't die, it would have been 7.4 with that wood buff that we get for surviving. Ah shit, I think this is cooldown increased, because my cooldowns are very big in this map. Let me see. No cooldowns increased, okay. That's pretty weird. But my HP is permanently reduced, so... No. No! And there's how things can one-shot you. The boss is getting back to full HP, never feels good. Come on! Fuck. Such annoying enemies in this zone. Another thing I don't like is how they've made so many enemies purely one-shot targets, one-shot mechanics. Not a great way to make stuff. That's actually true for Wosen as well. Currently many people are complaining about how in Champion some of the bosses just have some annoying one-shot mechanics, and it's just a game of dodging. A game of dodging. You get hit once in Wosen on Champion difficulties and you die. That's kind of what people are saying. Unless you're doing some sort of a tank setup. And that really is no fun. If it's like that on launch, many people would probably not enjoy it. We'll see how it is though. They've gotten a lot of feedback for the last 4 months or so in Wilson regarding people not liking how Champion works. Torchlight 1 and 2 were great. I really hope Torchlight 3 is well received when it launches. But it's far from ready for a launch. I can tell you just by playing this Steam version of Torchlight 3, I definitely think it's under NDA for a reason. I think if it wasn't under NDA now, many people would have started giving it bad press, negative reviews and press. And a game does not need a review until it's launched, and people avoid understanding this, that you shouldn't be reviewing a game before it launches. Even if it says early access, a game should not be reviewed until it's launched. If it's early access, well, it's early access. No one is making people play a game if it's early access. Thankfully, with Torchlight 3, they're not selling early access. I think they even are slowing down with the invites for now, until the next phase of invites, which probably would be with the beta. They're still inviting new people regularly, but probably slowing down a bit. But I've seen some bugs. I've already reported a few bugs yesterday myself, such as invisible walls, blocking the progression, or being able to go through walls. Let's do this one, sorry. And I'm gonna do a few more maps on Bragi, and then I'm gonna move on to Elessa. Unless I normally speed run with my poison build. Last time I played Telesa I was doing a bit of a summoner setup. Okay. Wait, what were the modifiers? Using special attacks more often. Oh, the boss might be a bit of a pain in the bum if I don't burst him with a combo. The wood quality is 7.1, 7.2, close to it. If anyone wants to join me, by the way, you're welcome to join. Even if you can't survive, you can kind of stay back or you can try to just heal yourself and play more defensively, and I can try and carry. You can get some wood and XP while playing with me. And as I keep saying, I've got a lot of items to give away. So plenty of wood to choose from in my storage that I can give other players. Shit. I need to drop some stuff. Boom. He did not die from the boom. Alright. Oh, again, he keeps surviving. Lucky demon. And by the way, if you're a new player playing the game, what is more important for new players would be to maybe, if they're lucky, get a weapon or an offhand and gauntlets to get the damage boosted. Like if you're lucky and get a weapon or offhand or gauntlets, gloves that are green, it's gonna boost your damage and let you push further. Even if you don't get good armors and you're with red armors, good weapons or good gloves increasing your damage would definitely help you push further. Because from gauntlets you can get flat damage, and flat damage is great. Flat damage and crit damage are great. Together with some HP, it gets even better. So what you might want is flat damage, crit damage, HP and armor, and then the rest is just bonuses. Just wanna see what dropped. So this Bruised Eagle, it's kind of bad, no crit chance. What you want on Bragi, by the way, is you want crit chance on your weapons, and preferably cooldown reduction. If you're playing such a setup, you definitely need the cooldown reduction and the crit chance. And if you're using Fiery Ring of Tori, Fiery Ring of Tori, what does it look like? This one. If you're using this ring, it would help you with the cooldown reduction, but you need good crit chance for it to work. Okay, will the enemy be here? Let's see. And by the way, in Torchlight 3 they've increased the drop rates, it seems, of legendary items, and in the Gambler I've already gotten 5 or 6 items just from gambling. 5 or 6 legendary items just from gambling, 1, 2, 3, 4 every now and then. But it seems like what's happening in Torchlight 3 at the moment is specific legendary items are dropping more than others. I've gotten like 5 fire starter swords, which is a flame based sword, and I've gotten 4 wide woads one-handed maces, and I've not gotten a single other one-handed legendary item. So I'm starting to believe that they weren't ready with adding all legendary items in the game with mayhem affixes, with special legendary affixes, so they only added the ones that are ready, and there were a very small number of legendaries that were ready, because it just doesn't seem right if I've looted 9 weapons, legendary weapons in a game, and all of them, half of them were one item, the other one were another item, and all of them are repeating. Maybe that was a glitch, maybe something went wrong with the wood. I already reported it in Torchlight Frontiers Discord, in the Torchlight bug hunting section. Hopefully they look into it. I'm gonna do one more map on Bragi and then I'm gonna go on Elessa. Which one do I wanna do though? This is cooldown. This is Tzinch. I'm not a big fan of Tzinch. Cooldown, exploding enemies. We can do something on this side. This one is not too bad. But the sharpshooter is such a great class. There's one skill, Scatter Shot, and Scatter Shot is a skill you can either charge or use right away. And then there's this buff, as I said earlier, a buff that gives her 50% crit chance on the precision skills. So she has adventure skills, which are buffs, and you can only have one adventure skill buff active at the same time. So it's about rotation. The way I play the sharpshooter is I use an adventure buff that adds vulnerability to the enemies. Then I quickly switch to another adventure skill. Just a moment. Oh no, so first I use one that reduces the damage enemies do, curses them. Then I do one that makes them more vulnerable to take more damage. Then I use the one that makes me have 50% more crits on my precision skills, and that's when I start DPSing with precision skills. And it's a very good rotation. Another version of playing it is with the summon skill. There's a summon skill which seems a bit bugged at the moment. Normally you summon 2 goblins, and then if you use the next 3 skills you use from the precision are supposed to give you more goblins, one more goblin for a total of 5. But the way it works now, sometimes it doesn't give the more goblins, sometimes it gives you 2 more goblins for the next 3 skills, so you end up having something like 8 of them instead of just 5. So it's kind of glitchy and it's kind of yeah. It's still fun though, it's definitely fun. And definitely those legendary items having special fixes, like when I had 3 pieces of the Woods Beast set, I could summon 2 goblin hounds to fight for me when using my relic skill, my ultimate, as I like to call it. And then I would have those goblin hounds, which would do pretty decent damage for the level back then. So combining different pieces, having 3 pieces of one set with 3 pieces of another set, definitely feels great. And I've not tested the old classes to see their new skills, but I'm gonna be testing that later myself as well. There's a lot I wanna do in Torchlight 3. I wish I could share my experiences with you, but we're gonna have to be patient. I think maybe 1-2 months before the NDA is lifted, maybe less. But there are things that are not finished, so this NDA probably is there to avoid people from complaining and showing unfinished stuff online. Let's see. The third town is one thing that definitely seems to have just placeholder art style. It doesn't seem to have been completed at all. So each frontier has its own outpost. Like each act is a different outpost. That's how it is in Torchlight 3 at the moment. And the third one was basically some unpainted, undecorated, non-decorated stuff, which they warned us about. They warned us that it's not finished. It's just some NPCs and some basic structures without any art style added to it. But the Highwood Frontier outpost looks amazing for a town. It definitely has that Highwood feeling. It's like a swampy outpost around the lake or whatever. So you can see that poison river flowing through next to some of the buildings where the NPCs are. So the atmosphere is great. I'm gonna quickly trade the junk wood. So I had an axe and a helmet. Forge Heart. Forge Heart is a great axe if you have a good one with cooldown, flat damage and crit chance. The only problem I have with this one is it could end up killing you. It could end up killing you because this effect that it does a lot of damage can actually be done onto you. It's a glitch. It's a glitch, and if you're bleeding and you're using something like this fire avenging charge skill, you end up somehow getting one shot. Or if you're bleeding from an enemy and then you enter a burning field, which normally happens on the second act maps, I end up getting immediately one shot by my own axe. So that's a bug I've kind of I think I've already reported it, but yeah. Alright, I said next is Elessa. Just gonna quickly check the stuff that dropped. Crest of Grimnir, is it better? No cooldown reduction. Yeah, I don't want it. It's gonna go for giving away though, someone might want it. Last song. That bruised eagle, no crit chance, so yeah. Nothing too fancy. Alright, now it's Elessa. And by the way, if you've not seen the new character, if you wanna see what the new character looks like, the fifth one, the Dwarven Engineer, this is what she looks like. We do have some images, I think, of her on my computer that I can show you. Just one image. Just let me check where it was. Warhammer. Just trying to find the image for you guys. Can't remember where I saved it, but I'm pretty sure I saved it somewhere. Maybe in the Kings content. Kings. Is it in Kings? It's not in Kings. Oh. I'm just gonna try and find it in my. I'm gonna find it from my Discord. It's much easier to find it from there. Just a second. So what I want to share with you, what I'm trying to find now, is an image of the front of this character. So just if you're wondering what she looks like, she's called Kyo and she's gonna be the new character maybe coming in February or maybe in March. I'm assuming around the end of February is maybe when she's gonna come. I'm gonna have to wait and see. Okay, I found it. I found it. I'm gonna quickly go and open it and save it again. I'm not sure where I saved it. I know I have the image, but rather than looking for the image, I'm gonna save it again and share it to you uh, from that place. So there it is. I should be able to open it now. So this is the one they shared when it was New Year. And this is what she looks like. So this is a post from the official Chaosbane Twitter on New Year's Eve. So I'm loving the helmet. I'm loving the helmet she has and that kind of a hammer mace. And yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun playing with Dwarven Engineer. Something this game really needed, some more variety. And it's free content, so you don't actually have to get expansions or anything to get her. Even if you don't own the Tomb Kings DLC, you're gonna be able to play with her. And as you can see, there's another expansion that says coming soon. Another story or something. We're gonna have to wait and see. I've got room to wood stuff, but what I'll quickly do is I'm gonna change to my poison build. Currently this is not the meta summoner build, but it's an experimental summoner build. I was playing with the old god skills. I was playing with these god skills here. I was using the Fire's Reckoning and this Nature's Herald. Normally I go for using Seeds of Blood Superior and the Fire's Reckoning Mastered. This is what I normally do on my summoner build, and I do go for this one though. I do go for this one because I like it. This one also isn't bad. Getting Assassination Mastered is also not a bad option. But now I'm gonna do some poison, and this is what I'm doing right now with my poison setup. Stacking that health regeneration and getting some more from the forms of this. And I only wanted this cooldown reduction, that's why I went all the way here. These are the passives. This is what I'm using. I'm actually using treasure hunters for fragment farming, which I probably don't need right now, so I can get maybe more wood quality or crit chance. My crit chance is not that bad, so I can probably get some wood quality. Let me see. I'm using the wood quality stuff, and yeah, 200 wood quality is gonna give me more than 5% crit chance. So let's get it. This is my farming setup for a lesser. We're doing rank 28 invasion, not something too difficult, but let's do those. Those are a bit better to do than those. Those would be boring. If I were to do this or this, it's gonna be boring. But those nodes are at least chaos 2, and they can actually drop some good wood. You can see with this setup on chaos 2, I probably have around 5 point something thousand wood quality, because it's rank 28 invasion. Look at this, 5455, and my amulet only gives me 297. I'm using this one because it's a crit chance. It is a good crit chance. That's the only reason why I'm using it. The same goes probably for... Actually, this one I'm only using because I probably don't have a better option. Let's see, crit chance, cooldown. I need something with crit chance and cooldown, and preferably wood quality. This is an option, but let's compare. Yeah, I can actually get that one. It's gonna give me health regeneration, which is gonna give me more damage. So let's do this. Let's bless it for crit chance and flat damage. If I were to do this, I get more more damage, less crit damage. If I were to do yellow here and red in the middle, I get more crit damage, less flat damage. I think more flat damage is the better option though. And you can mix them red, 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 yellow, yellow, yellow if you want a balanced setup. Wait, does this have increased cooldown? It doesn't. I'm just gonna do this, let them die. See, since this is some kind of easier content than what I was doing earlier, it's just Chaos 2 and only rank 28. I can just dodge, do those things that I do, as you're seeing. I'm doing poison brambles and I'm leaving a poison trail when I dodge, and I'm trying to dodge where the poison brambles are. That means when the enemies are following me, they're gonna go into twice the poison things. First of all, I do poison just from the enemies being around me, from my poison set. Then I also leave poison trails when dodging, which is my archetype ability. And then this one, my number 3, also does some damage, some poison damage. And those poison brambles, you can stack multiple of them at the same place. So they can be pretty strong as a skill. Even if it's not the poison version of it, it's pretty strong of a skill. See, I'm not playing a meta setup right now, I'm playing a farming setup. That's why I'm stacking that much AoEs. But I do have builds for the pushing setup of this one. Again, it's not gonna be OP though. This character class is the least powerful one. I think this is the most underpowered at the moment in the current state of the game. Alessa unfortunately seems like the most underpowered character. Okay, we're done with this one. We can leave and start the next one. But one thing is for sure, with health regeneration setup, you can end up doing invasion nodes without your HP going down. Let's see if my HP goes down now. It's supposed to be going down by 4% corruption. 4% HP needs to be taken, and look at that, my HP goes down but it keeps getting regenerated. Because I've got, without using skills, 10.6% health regeneration. Then if I were to use this skill or start killing enemies, just with this skill I get it to 16.6. And then if things like this trigger, then we get even more. And then you can use things like, what was it? This one, where did it go? This passive can also give you some more health regeneration. What was it? Right, up, up, down, up. Rudu. We did right, now it's up. Then again up. Then it's down. And now we exit. And that's that. Let's do this one. Alright. So I'm gonna try and push those nodes that I've started pushing on both sides, and then I can go on the mage. If someone wants to see different builds, don't be afraid to ask me. I can show you different builds for different sets. Like, if you're playing the game or if you're not playing it but are wondering whether you maybe need to play it or something like that, I can show you some more variety of setups that I've got on my characters. Even if it's not a meta build, I can show you something that might be maybe fun for you. Each set has some sort of a build going on with it that synergizes with the set, because it's kind of like Diablo 3. Certain sets are boosting certain skills to make them very powerful, and you kind of want to be using those sets with those skills. Wait, is this cooldown increased? Yeah, cooldown increased. Very bad modifier for this build, because I'm heavily relying on cooldowns getting decreased by me doing crits or something like that now. I do want cooldowns to be good, because with good cooldowns we can spam this heroic skill. And spamming this heroic skill would give us a lot of damage. And it bounces off of walls, so if you use it right, you might end up hitting. But there's a glitch in the game. If I use my spinning blade and I dodge roll into it, sometimes it disappears. Sometimes what it happens is the projectile... It's as if my character is picking it up. She's not picking it up really, there's no such mechanic. But I'm gonna try and demonstrate it, maybe I'll be able to. It doesn't happen every time, but sometimes it does. Like, I'm using my spinning blade, then I dodge in the same direction, and since I dodge faster than the projectile moves, I end up kind of colliding with it and it disappears. So I'm gonna try and demonstrate it. Let's throw it there. Okay, didn't work this time. I'm gonna do it in the next map, where I'm gonna be able to show you properly with the lower cooldown. This one's completed. Let's see the next. And by the way, tomorrow I'm probably gonna be doing Borderlands 3. I've decided to do some Borderlands 3 tomorrow. They've done some changes to the wood stuff. So, and there's also an event that increases the chances of good wood dropping from rare chests. So I can probably do some rare chest hunting tomorrow. Maybe play with viewers, do whatever anyone wants to do. They permanently made the scaling for the takedown, so that's gonna be nice. Another cooldown? Shit, oh, my luck is terrible. It's another cooldowns increased map. Wait, did I accidentally start the same map? I might have. I think I didn't kill enough enemies on the last map, so I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna go this way and kill some enemies to make sure. Yeah, I think I killed the creature before all the enemies that needed to die died, and that's why I didn't count it as completed, so I'm gonna have to do it again. This time I'm gonna kill some more enemies before killing the boss. This is what I like about this game though. You can kill the boss before killing all the enemies needed. So even if you end up reaching the boss before all the enemies are dead, you can kill it and then you can kill the enemies. Instead of having to backtrack and then backtrack again. In Wolfen that kind of can be a bit annoying sometimes. Like yeah, you do see how many enemies you've killed and how many more need to be killed, which this game is missing. But at least if you kill if you reach the boss early, it's there. It's not you having to wait for the boss to spawn. So from all the things this game did bad, at least one thing it did pretty nice when it comes to quality of life. Right, yeah, I'm gonna have to show this in another map because it's not easy to show it in this map. It didn't happen again. But this game really needs a counter to show us how many more enemies we need to kill. Or a bar like in Wolfen where you kind of just kill enemies and it fills the bar. You know whether it's done or not. So I need to remember there's still some more to kill. How many more though? Hope those here are enough. Let's try and pull them together. Now I'm not doing as much damage because normally here I would have Duelist Chain Reaction. Duelist Chain Reaction can give me up to 400 damage, crit damage, up to 400 crit damage as long as I use skills with cooldown. That's why I've got this skill here and this skill here. All of those are skills with cooldown and they can trigger that and chain it. In most builds where I'm using skills with cooldowns, I do include Duelist Chain Reaction because it's a great passive and it's a 0-point cost. So one to definitely look out for when making builds. And by the way, folks, I'm also recording my experiences in Torchlight Alpha, in Torchlight 3 Alpha, so that when the NDA is lifted, I can share some of the experiences I've had with people online. So I'm kind of recording my play sessions like normally when I stream everything gets recorded, but since I can't stream it, I'm just recording it vocally, and that way it actually looks better. It's gonna be in better quality than my streams. I'm kind of running out of storage space though, because last night I recorded like 40 gigabytes worth of footage, like 8-10 hours worth of me playing Torchlight 3. I can't share it now, but when the NDA is lifted, I will be sharing my playthroughs on all characters, even without commentary. I've never posted videos like that, just me playing a game without commentary or anything like that. But yeah, eventually it's gonna be great to have it there for people who might be interested once the NDA is lifted. Once I get some high levels, I'm gonna start making build videos, and then when the NDA is lifted, I can just upload the build videos that have been ready made. I do have build videos for Torchlight 3 before the rename, before the changes, but there haven't been much changes in the other classes, just one new skill for each of the other classes. But the changes that concern relic weapons, the pet skills, there's new pet skills by the way. New pet skills. I'm gonna bring you some news tomorrow. I'm gonna try and sum up all the things that are new, all the things that changed, all the things that people might want to know of, all the information. I'm just kind of trying to finish the story first before I do it. I think we're ready to leave this zone. I'm kind of very hyped currently because I'm really enjoying Torchlight 3. It's the most fun I've had in Torchlight 3 since the start of Alpha, since the early inception of Frontiers, and I didn't even start from the very beginning. I started from Alpha Phase 3, which was around April 2019. And I think the game started either at the beginning of 2019 or even in the winter of 2018 when Alpha Phase 1 was. So I'm not even playing since the very beginning. And since then I can tell you this has been the biggest, best update ever. And it's really returning the game to its roots, to an act-based progression. Do this act, then move on to the next one, then move on to the next one. And there's no more limitations with the gear being from the different zone. I mean, you still want different resistances in different zones, but they kind of generalized some of the defense stats we used to get before. So now you have general defense, and then you have fire, whitening, and poison defense, based on whether you're doing the first frontier, the third, or the second, respectively. But you can still focus on HP and the general defense, and the general defense would not give you as much as the elemental specific, but at least it's gonna work for all places, for all types of enemies. So there's that as well. And pets seem a bit more intelligent now. I still would like to see some commands, some stances for the pets in TL3. Okay. What's my wood quality here? I wanna see. My wood quality here is 5640. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. I can still get some greeny greens. And this is not the, oh, this is crit chance is reduced, so my wood quality is lower because my crit chance is reduced. This amulet only gives me 182, but it's just fine. I'm losing 182. But yeah, I've got very low crit chance now, 29.1. It's half of what it normally is. Well, I normally have 60. I didn't know I had that high crit chance on this setup. And I've missed the chest here. Alright, it's this way. Am I using Master Archer Bow? I am, but since I'm not critting much, my cooldowns are suffering. My cooldown reduction is only 44.5%. Definitely use something better. Oh, I ran out of energy and didn't even notice. I have to do this to get some energy. Actually, let's not do this. Let's get more enemies. When I get more enemies, I can get energy much quicker with this skill. Because it's piercing and it's hitting every enemy, and every enemy hit gives me a few percentages of energy. Hello Tema NT. This is not normal. This is only rank 28 Chaos 2 invasion. It is definitely not normal. If you wanna team up, by the way, we can team up. I can help you with some farming. I can give you items. Any help you guys need, feel free to ask me if you're playing this game. And any questions you might have if you're not playing the game, if you wanna see more different setups, I can always change my build. I can change my character, I can change my build. I can show you different type of content if you wanna see boss rushes. Although on boss rushes I'm not the best, they're kind of a challenging piece of content. You're top streamer? Nice, dude, nice. What do you stream, Tema? What games do you stream? We can team up together and do a co-stream. You're streaming, I'm streaming, we're playing together, everyone's happy. I've done that, it works fine sometimes. By the way, keep in mind that there's delay, so anything that you write, I would receive it, but you wouldn't be able to hear my response until like a minute or so later. YouTube has a bit of a longer delay when I do my streams, opposed to Twitch and Mixer. I'm currently streaming to Restream, and Restream is sending the info to YouTube, Mixer and Twitch. And I'm still gonna reply, and you're still gonna hear my replies, just be aware of the delay between my reply on and the broadcast. You're from Russia? Nice. I'm from Bulgaria, dude. We're close. So, yeah, as I said, there's a lot of gear to give away. If you're playing this game, all of this gear here on the right side under in my chest, that's like 100 items. From those 100 items, probably 95 I don't need. And they're all decent items. Some of them are my old items that I used to use, like this one. So there's some stuff that you might want. No, Tema, I cannot speak in Russian. I mean, I can understand some of the stuff that you're saying. I can understand some of the stuff, like just what now I understood this question that you asked, but if I try to speak it, it ends up a disaster. So I'd rather not try. I'd rather not try and speak in Russian. And my channel is English only. I don't even speak my own language in my on my streams. I mean, I could say a word or two. Sometimes I've taught some of my viewers some Bulgarian because they were interested in hearing me speak Bulgarian. So I've said a couple of words every now and then. Okay, dude. Well, at any time, if you wanna play some ARPGs together, feel free to stop by. But yeah, my Russian is isn't really good. I mean, I've only studied it for a few years back in elementary school or whatever, and yeah, really wasn't my favorite because my teacher, my Russian teacher, was kind of like a crazy one. I think it was her because back then in that school we had a lot of crazy teachers, but I think it was her who took some of the chalkboard and threw it at the students because she kind of got pissed off by us being bad students or whatever. So yeah, kind of bad memories from my Russian teacher back in elementary school. So yeah, this what I'm doing is, what is it? Chaos 2. 5,500. Thank you, Terman, for the follow. Welcome to my Twitch channel. Nice to see you, dude. Oh, Tema NT came to Twitch. Nice, thanks. Really appreciate it, dude. And yeah, welcome to the Struck Club indeed. You want help? I mean, if you want help, I can help you. Do you want my... Let me add you on Steam. I'm gonna quickly send you my Steam friend invite link. And this Steam friend invite link, anyone who's watching, feel free to add me. This is my streamer account, so I don't mind sharing it. I do not mind sharing it. So just a moment, I'm gonna go to friends, view friends list, add friend, copy, and there you go. This team friend invite link, you can add this link, and this would immediately add you to my friends list without me having to confirm or anything. And then I can just invite you once you're ready. So yeah, feel free to add me if you want some help. But yeah, if you need help with invasions or help with relic hunts, any type of content, I could probably help you. I'm not good at boss hunts because boss hunts are kind of not worth it at the moment for the difficulty they offer and the rewards they can give you. But even for that, if you need help, I could probably go on something more tanky and help you. When you've added me, let me know so I can maybe send an invite if you wanna join. And yeah, this game is kind of like a it's like a graveyard when it comes to matchmaking. If I were to do this, open the game to the public. For free roam, anyone who clicks free roam on the joining would be able to. Well, I can try and sub to you from another account. If you need subs, I can help you, but what I'm trying to do is on my YouTube account. I'm only trying to sub my account that I upload videos on to the to some gaming companies that I stream their games, but I don't mind giving you a sub with my other account. That's gonna be fine. Would definitely not mind doing it. I'm gonna try and remember after the stream to go and give you one. On Twitch I don't mind following you though. I can follow you on Twitch. But for YouTube sub I can go on the other one. I think on my current YouTube channel I'm only subscribing to Torchlight, Grimdown, Chaosbane, Borderlands, etc. Some gaming companies of the games I stream. Just to make sure that I'm not getting much notifications on that account. But the personal one, yeah, that's the one I subscribe to content creators which I watch. It hasn't dropped much. It hasn't dropped much on Alessa, if at all. I don't think we've gotten a single green item on Alessa. We got one on Conrad, we got quite a few on Bragi, but on Bragi we were doing 7000 wood quality, so it made sense to get that much. Maximum health decreased, okay. You can see with this build at the moment my health is not dropping over time. I can just stay in one place and my health would remain the same. One of the good things. So health permanently decreases over time. That means the maximum health decreases, not the currently available. So I'm gonna rush it. I'm gonna go and push towards the boss fight. Okay, no wood in this chest. Can already go for the creatures, I'm not gonna even leave brambles on the ground. Is it this way or the other way? I think it's this way. And the green. Oh, Master Archer bow. Could it be a good one? We're gonna have to wait and see after the map. Because now I switched online mode, that means I can't pose. Well, if there's no enemies around me, maybe I can pose, but there's a lot of them on my ass trying to get it. And I'm not giving it. Not to those lowly demons. There we go. Let's Let's kill the creature now. So the wood quality right now is 5.8 thousand because we've got this buff. This you get if you stay in one map for a while without getting killed. You get this extra 300%. So at the start of the map it might be different number, but by the end if you don't die, you get this extra 300. And this is motivating people to not die, because 300 wood quality is exactly one extra difficulty being added. Each difficulty level, and the difficulty levels are quite a lot. I think 13 difficulty levels or whatever. So it's like very easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another 8. So 13 difficulty levels. And this one, currently what I pick here doesn't matter. Even if I pick Chaos 8, it doesn't matter for invasion. What this does is it changes the difficulty when you're doing relic hunts. It would be this difficulty you select. Then when you're doing boss rushes, it also would be this difficulty you select for those 5 bosses. And for expeditions. But when you're doing invasions, each invasion node has its own difficulty. So invasions depend on the rank you selected, and they also depend on the difficulty of the node. So this one would be normal, then you move on to things like hard, very hard, chaos 1, etc. all the way to chaos 6 for the final, what is it, for the final 9 nodes in the invasion. So we got this one, and we can get some more here. Let's check this Master Archer bow though. Master Archer bow is my favorite bow, and this one gives me extra 1.8 cooldown reduction, but is it better than mine? That's the question. Slightly less flat damage. I can live without a bit flat damage, that's fine. The HP is better. The damage over time is better, so for the poison build it would be nice. The cost reduction is missing, but I can live without it. And it has armor piercing instead of crit damage, so it's probably not that good, because 72 crit damage, but 11 armor piercing on the other hand is a lot. So both of them are good options. I'm gonna bless it. I will bless it and see what I can get. Yeah, blessing for damage and HP, like the other one. Ooh, that was a very good number of damage. That was close to the max damage roll I can get. The maximum is 4480. So I got 4477. That's good. But look at that. Even the stat sheet doesn't lie. The stat sheet says minus 18% on the DPS side because of the crit damage. The armor piercing probably doesn't add to the damage on the stat sheet as much, and losing that extra damage, 1100. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it, but probably I'm gonna give it away if anyone wants it, because it's a good one, nevertheless. And a Master Archer bow is good for almost any build. There aren't many builds that I would suggest using another bow for, except for the Summoner build. And a Summoner build I would suggest playing with deadly tips, like the build I got online. Someone said ambush is bugged in the Discord channel. Someone said ambush is bugged and they don't get increased damage. Well, I'm not sure what they're doing, but ambush is not bugged for me. You can see it's not giving us damage here, but But it's increasing physical damage, so you're not gonna get attack damage, you're gonna get physical damage. That means you're only gonna get damage on physical skills. And you can check, this is physical damage skill, 3600. Remove this, and it's also 3600, so it's not increasing the damage on the tooltip. But it's weird, I mean, is it glitched, is it not glitched? I do see more crits, I do see higher crits when I'm using ambush, so it's hard to tell. It doesn't change the damage here. This is 21,000. So I can't tell whether this is glitched or not. Hey Thunder God and here Frosty, welcome both of you, welcome back. But yeah, the cutscenes in Wosen are very high quality. I mean, they have someone with great vision, like moving the camera in a certain way and then having those nice sound effects and everything like that added to it. It really gives you a nice story. So when it comes to ambush, I do seem to get higher crits with it, but maybe it's just me not noticing it. Maybe the skill is broken. But I do remember this working. I do remember this increasing the damage. So either there was a small hotfix that changed it, or something must have happened for it to not show me extra damage. Unfortunately, because that's quite a nice skill. But okay, let's go back to my poison setup and keep farming. But yeah, the walls and cutscenes are one of the best ones I've seen recently in games. In ARPGs, I mean, not in games in general. And it's not something as epic as cinematics that Blizzard does, but it's something that doesn't require a huge budget. You don't need a huge budget to do good cutscenes. You just need something that allows you to move the camera in a certain way and to have someone with a vision to execute the cinematic feel of a cutscene well. I think they're gonna release all the skills that are coming on launch for Wilson before it releases. So currently we have what, 6, 7, maybe 8 new skills released. If there's 8 new skills, then there's probably a lot more left to show. You know, there's 20 skills to come. 20 new skills. I'm not sure how many the new ones are, but if you want we can count them. If you want we can go ahead and count the new skills that have been released so far. Let's check it. So they released Annihilation. No, not that. They released Anomaly. So that's one. Then we have Blood for Blood, that's 2. Then Crashing Sun, that's 3. Dead Gazer, that's 4. Then Dusk Shroud, 5. Eclipse, 6. 7 with Feeding Swarm, 8. 9. So they've released 9. So maybe that's 11 more skills to show. 11 more skills. Even if they don't show all of them, they're definitely gonna be showing a lot of them. I don't expect to see every single modifier of every single skill, but at least the new skills, it would be nice to show those to us. In my video, I think I covered 8. I covered everything except this one, because I uploaded my video yesterday, and I'm gonna be doing part 2 later, when more of those get released. For Wosen. At least once I make one video, then making a part 2 of the same video or something similar, it's a bit easier because I could spend less time configuring certain properties of a video file, and I can just copy the properties of the other video and apply it to the new video file, to the new recording. This is why I like uploading things in bulk. Like the other day I uploaded 7 videos for Torchlight Frontiers. It's much easier for me to do editing in bulk, because I can do one video and then the other ones I just replace the video files and I just add the properties, the effects like transitions, etc. from one file to the other, like shadow and outline, etc. for the text and all of that. I can just copy it and add it there. But when doing something completely new from scratch, it takes longer. That's why yesterday I started my stream that late, because it took me longer than I expected editing, and I just kept wanting to make the video look better. I was like, okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra touch here to get a bit of shadows overstacking on this title, but then I thought, okay, let's add another shadow that is with color to make it stand out, for each skill different color. And yeah, and I had to watch hours of content, hours of me recording myself to pick the best scenes that match me using the skills that are being talked about. Okay. Those don't wanna die. What's this map mod? They get bonus damage and armor. Okay, so the armor is why they're not dying. And tomorrow I'm gonna be doing Borderlands as I said, and maybe the day after tomorrow back to Wilson in the offline mode. Just trying to give all the games I play a bit of playtime now. Because the plan was to be playing and streaming TL3, Torchlight 3, but since there's an NDA I can't, so at least the other games have some more time to shine now on my channel. Drak, I really didn't understand this. If you want me to, I can go and use Google Translate to translate it from myself, but yeah. Not sure what that meant. My thoughts on Vast Epoch, as I said, I've not played it, I've only seen it, and I think the game still needs some more development. I mean, if I had the spare money, I would probably get it and test it and play it and make some builds and make some content for it. But for now, I'm saving money for a new SSD to be able to install games on and to be able to do editing from an SSD for faster rendering times, because yeah, my rendering currently seems to be throttled by only having 16 gigabytes of RAM and SSD. Because Adobe Premiere is very hungry for RAM memory software. It works well with 30 gigabytes and over. And I've got 16, which is still a lot. It's a decent number. I mean, 16 is a nice number for gaming. When it comes to editing and rendering, it may not be, but it's fine enough. And when I install my SSD, when I get one, I think my rendering times would be twice as fast. And not just the rendering, loading of certain software not software, but certain videos in After Effects and Adobe Premiere would be faster, and my gaming loading times would be much faster with a generation 3 or 4 SSD. And Wilson definitely requires one. The way I see Wilson, I think it's best to have an SSD. The game really has some big loading time because of the engine itself. Pre-loading everything from the get-go. And I'm only guessing here, but I think when Wilson launches, we are gonna be able to have even bigger loading times. Because there's gonna be 3 acts. I'm not sure how much content it will pre-vote, but if it starts pre-voting content for all 3 acts on the first voting on when the game is created, then that might be a problem, because that's gonna be a lot more than what we have at the moment in the beta. Because currently it seems like it's pre-loading all the things that it needs to, and then when you go to maps, it's just opening the already loaded things in the memory or whatever. Is storing the assets or whatever. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know in detail how it works, but I'm assuming that's kind of similar to how it does. Let's do some poison. So I'm gonna be going on the mage in a moment. Let's maybe do this map and one more maybe, and then it's gonna be time to go on the mage. Okay, get some more poison there. Oh, it's not reaching, fuck. This guy was too far. I was wondering why he wasn't dying after so much stuff spawned on him. And now here. Most enjoyable ARPG at the moment. Dalton, welcome to the Struck Club, Dalton. My most enjoyable ARPG at the moment, I would say, would be Wosen and Torchlight 3. Oh, both of them are catering towards different parts of what I like in a game, and that's fine, because they're not competing between each other, and I like it. I like Torchlight gives me one type of experience, and then Wosen Words of Mayhem gives me a different type of experience. So if I were to pick two, it would be Torchlight for when I want something a little less demanding when it comes to completing the content and getting the best items, and then Wosen for something that can provide a little more depth when building, and more end game, because currently Wosen is getting launch in 13 days, like 14 days or whatever. On the 13th of February Wosen is launching, but Torchlight 3 is still in alpha, so I can't kind of even compare them in this regard, because even though Torchlight 3 lacks a lot of endgame content, it's still fun. It's still fun, and just the classes themselves feel very fun and nice to play. There's interesting synergies now between items and pet skills and relic skills, with your own skills. And as for Wosen, it's adding such a good take on a crafting system in an ARPG. It's adding such a good active skill system similar to Diablo 3, but only taking the good parts of it. Then it's adding a nice passive system similar to Path of Exile, but maybe not as hard to make a build on as Path of Exile. So there's definitely a lot of good parts from different games in the genre that can be seen as probably influence in the way the game systems were designed in Wosen. I think Wosen is the game that really deserves to make it big in the genre. It needs to be the next big thing. Probably it never would be as big as currently Path of Exile is, but I don't see a reason why it shouldn't get at least 100,000 people playing it eventually in a few months from the launch, once the word spreads. I think they've made pretty much a lot of sales. I mean, a lot of people have covered it. I think big streamers from the Diablo and Path of Exile community have already covered Wosen. and hopefully they test it when it launches and spread the word and tell people what they think, and hopefully they like it, because word of mouth spreads quickly when it's about the gaming communities. Some people trust their content creators, and if certain content creator says they're enjoying it, they're probably gonna be more inclined towards testing it themselves as well. And we have people like me and others who also stream the games for everyone to see and decide for themselves. I personally can't decide just by streaming, just by watching a stream, but I know many people, for them just watching a stream is more than enough to decide whether they want to play a game or not. I personally, if a game has a cracked version, I would download the cracked version, play it for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then decide for myself. Because if a game doesn't offer a free demo of a few hours, and on Steam it's only 2 hours before you can refund it, uh, I think piracy is not killing the game industry, it's actually helping it. And recently there was one game developer that actually released its game as a torrent for everyone to download, and then if they like it they can go ahead and buy it. So he actually was the one releasing his game out there instead of waiting for someone to crack it. This was a very bold move and it got a lot of attention, and I think this is one of the developers who realizes that if you get a cracked game and you like it and you spread the word that you like it, even if you can't afford it yourself, maybe your friends would buy it and maybe you would buy it later when you can afford it. I think that's how it is. Most people who play cracked games either can't buy them or are just deciding whether to buy them or not and just wanna kind of have a sneak peek at it. And I think probably piracy might actually help Wilson as well. I think many people would be, I don't think, I'm sure that many people would probably download it and play it for a few hours, and then if they like it probably would buy it. But my advice is, if you want to buy it, you can buy it even now cheaper. If you think that you've decided getting Woes and Words of Mayhem is worth it, it's probably better to get it now, because you're gonna save money if you compared to buying it after it launches, when the price would kind of be bigger. Like for say, there's a lot of kids that have limited amount of games that their parents can buy them, and a kid can't get every single game they want. But let's say this kid gets a cracked version of a game, then plays it for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then he says, okay, I want this game for Christmas, to his parents, and they get him the game for Christmas or for his birthday or whatever, because he's tried it and he knows he wants to play it. And that's the same for people who work, people with jobs, that maybe are from countries where the standards don't offer that huge salaries and they can't afford to buy a new game every month, and just want to make sure they're not spending their money on something they would only play for a couple of hours before ditching it. So currently actually piracy is helping the gaming industry by letting people try the games. Of course there's probably gonna be people who would never be able to afford the game and would always be playing the pirated copy, but that again doesn't mean that they won't advertise the game to their peers, saying, oh, I really enjoyed this game, you should try it. And then their friend who actually has a job and can get the game buys it and tries it. So there's a lot to be discussed here. I often do share my opinion about this. I'm not sure if it's a lot to be shared online on Twitch and YouTube, but it's not like me saying go ahead and crack the game and play it cracked. I'm saying that it's a good alternative for people who can't afford it and just want to make sure before they make a big purchase. Some games cost 50-60 bucks, and that's a lot of money for people before making a decision. And when I had a job back then, before I quit my job, I used to buy games every now and then, even collector's editions. And a good example would be Pathfinder Kingmaker. I never played Pathfinder Kingmaker type of games that D&D classic. It's not classic D&D, but it's still D&D type of game. And I really wanted to test it, so I downloaded the cracked version. I liked it, and then I bought the most expensive version I can get on Steam, which I think was €100, 150 maybe, and that was few years ago. But back then I could afford getting those games, but still I've never tried a game like this. This is just a perfect example of me making a purchase, a good purchase to support the developers for what they did after getting a copy. Well, I don't think so, man. I mean, I've just given you the exact example of an offline game, Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's not about me saving the money when I play the cracked game. It's about me testing if the game is worth spending the money to support the developer. Because I think of it from the developer's perspective. I mean, they got our money. And if you like the product, why not give them the money if you can afford giving them the money? It's the same for any type of thing, for movies as well. I don't like going to the cinema because it's loud, there's people talking, there's people munching, there's people slurping. But if I could get the cinema experience without the annoying part, I would be supporting a lot of the movies I like if I had the funds to do it. And that's where things like Netflix come handy for people who don't like the lousy, not the lousy, but the loud noises in cinemas and want to have an experience and maybe not to watch a movie right when it premieres, but a few months after. They can Netflix it, they can get it on pay on demand, they can get a DVD or a digital download or whatever. And it's the same for other things, books as well. If you get a preview from an ebook but you want to support your author, you might want to give them some stuff. Okay, last map, and then I'm going to the mage. I'm gonna change to the mage. So for me, I do think of it this way. If I like something and I would support the person who made it. That's how I think about it, regardless whether it's a game, a book, a movie, or anything else that you could think like a play in theater or whatever it could be, any type of art or or intellectual property or whatever. Chaosbane, I've had a lot of fun times in Chaosbane. I think the game could be fun if you don't want too much out of it. You shouldn't expect this to be the next Diablo 3 or Path of Exile. It's just an ARPG hack and slash set in the Age of Sigmar Warhammer universe. It's similar to Diablo 3 in certain aspects because you have skills and each skill has 3 versions of it that cost different amount of skill points. And it also has something similar to to devotions and to passive skills in Grim Dawn and in Chaos, not Chaosbane, but Woes and Path of Exile. So it has those god skills, and by doing those god skills, you're actually unlocking things like passive god skills or active god skills, which also cost skill points to equip. You have 100 skill points, you have to pick the best ones to suit your build. And when you're farming, you have things like this one that gives you wood quality, you have other things, this one that gives you fragments, you have gold drops, and you have a lot of things that you can equip that would be nice and fit well in certain builds. Currently I'm farming, so I want wood quality, crit chance, things like that, because I'm using this item that gives me wood quality based on crit chance. I mean, the game kinda has very bad itemization system with the armors. Each character has 4 sets, each set gives you a heroic version of a certain skill or passive skill. And that's taking away a lot of choices. A lot of choices are being taken away from the player by making it so that if you want to be making a build with this skill, you definitely want to be using this set. That's 5 pieces of equipment that would always need to be used together, otherwise they're useless. So you can't mix and match. I think if they make different bonuses at different pieces collected of the set, then maybe it would be nice. Let's say you have 3 pieces of this set, you get the heroic version. But if you have 2 pieces, you get other bonuses. That way people can probably min-max and mix match 2 pieces from one set to just get the passives without the heroic, and then 3 pieces to get the heroic and the passives, or just the heroic without the passive, something like that. And I think they need to introduce items that are not set items. They need to introduce armors that are not set armors, and they can probably make it so that you get the heroic skill from a certain armor with 3 pieces of the set, and then for the other 2 you can maybe use something else, something like a unique armor or whatever. That would be nice. I think that the main thing that needs to be changed here is the lack of endgame content, and they are working on it. They have been gradually increasing the variety of things we can do. They need to introduce online only mode to prevent cheating, because I've seen people cheating online in this game. I've seen people posting trainers in the official Discord as well, just to tell people that this shit exists. And then they need to, as well as I said, increase the possibilities for the itemization, for build making via items. The end game of Wolsen, what we've seen so far is not bad, but I do want more from what was in the beta. I hope they deliver in Wolsen when it comes to the end game. And this game also suffers from very bad case of imbalanced abilities and builds. Like, some builds are so much weaker than others, and I've done my best to try and find how to make them stronger, but it's either I'm brain dead and I can't make a good build for those builds, or the builds just don't exist. I mean, it's pretty possible that I'm just not seeing it, then I'm not seeing the possibilities. But I spent countless of hours talking with some of my viewers and some of the people I've played with to see if something might fit together. And I think I've kind of checked everything there could be in regards to that. I've experimented so much with builds because that's what I normally do when streaming games. I experiment with stuff. I try to find the new builds, the new things for us to test. And I think, yeah, some builds are just weaker than others. Some builds just need to be buffed. Some skills in general are weaker than others and never see use in different setups. Alright, let's go kill the creature. No, 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 no. Actually, I think I can probably face tank him. No, not with this setup, not with this setup. I need more danger reduction to face tank him. But if I were to switch to my build from my channel for this set, I would be able to face tank on this difficulty without problems, because I have a lot of danger reduction when the setup is configured properly. Let's get some fragments, by the way. This is the equivalent of the transformations of the apocalyptic forms in Wolsen. Except here, only your skill bar changes, you don't transform yourself. And in Torchlight 3 we have something similar, which is the relic weapon. But again, it doesn't change your skill bar, it just gives you a temporary boost. And in this game, your skill bar does change to some skills that can only be used based on how much you've recharged your bloodlust. I can't wait for the apocalyptic forms in Wolsen, and I really am looking forward to seeing what they can offer. I'm thinking for boss fights, you would definitely want to be saving the apocalyptic form and activating it then. And again, if anyone is playing this game, if you need items, if you need help, hit me up. I've got a what to offer for free. I don't need anything in return, I'm just offering my help here. Okay, switching to the mage. So, Tomb Kings. While it's loading, I'm gonna quickly go take a leak. Been holding it for a while, and it's not good to do so. It makes me play bad when I hold it. So I'm gonna start a short ad break if you're on Twitch. If you're on Mixer or YouTube, I can start an ad break. So you're gonna have to be watching a boring BRB screen. I'm gonna start the BRB screen right now, and give me 2 minutes, and I'm gonna be back. Maybe even sooner. We'll see. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. And yeah, let's see now. Let's remove the BRB screen first. Here, this one. So this is my favorite build for the mage, for farming. I can just teleport, and you can see my energy goes down, but I can teleport so much with this. It's such a fun build to play. It's probably the most fun build for me to play in the whole game. And I remember finding this build, it was a bit broken when I first found it, but then they nerfed it and rebalanced it. Because I couldn't lose energy. It counted as a skill with cooldown, so it could proc things like Duelist Chain Reaction, which gives us crit damage up to 400 when using a skill with cooldown. It counted as a skill with cooldown that costs that has 0 cooldown, but then they changed it to an energy cost one. And it could also proc things like Ring of Resonance, which is a ring that allows you to stun when using a skill with cooldown and to do damage, so it used to do even more damage then. But they changed it, but it's still fine. The way I use it now, like now, it's still pretty solid. And again, I'm farming, so I'm using crit chance based wood. I do have better gear than the one I'm using, but I'm using this one for crit chance. You can see I'm stacking crit chance to have more wood quality, and my wood quality at the moment is 1000 and something, just from that. This is rank 28 invasion. This is gonna be boring, guys. This is probably gonna be boring for you, because it's gonna be very easy. So instead of doing that, maybe I can do something a bit less easy. Maybe let's do this Chaos 2, because it's not gonna be as boring. This Chaos 2 should be fine. Even without health regeneration, with this health going down all the time. You can see what this build does. I'm just teleporting and everything around me ends up dying, because my staff does this fire AoE around me, and my set does those whitenings around me. And then when I teleport, I also do a little bit of damage. So I can teleport super fast if I want to. And then when I teleport, I leave a AoE damage over time mark on the ground. But when I run out of energy, I need to do some melee. I'm using the melee skill because it's strong and it gives me decent energy. I mean, any energy regeneration skill would be fine, but I like the melee because I can just teleport and melee. And boom, green item, there we go. And you can use this god skill to make it even better as a synergy. This god skill is just... And you can spam those damage over time sigils on the ground. And you can just go away from them, go away from danger and let the enemies die. Without things like this happening, that just happened now. You can also do this. But this is not built for pushing, this is built for doing something that's not as difficult. Chaos 2, 3, 4, 5 should be fine. When it comes to invasions, probably up to Chaos 4. Oh wow, this is a Wookiee map. With how much wood quality? 5,600, and we're getting 2 greens on this map. Oh, and I can't pick it up, of course I won't be able to pick it up. Look at all the yellow items I've picked up through this map. This is a bad one, I can just tell you. Out of this place here, it doesn't have cooldown reduction and it doesn't have crit chance. If it had crit chance without cooldown reduction, it probably would work for this build, okay, because this build doesn't really need that much cooldown reduction. But the crit chance not being there and no flat damage, just damage over time. This build is fine with damage over time setup. I've played it with damage over time setup instead of flat damage, and it works okay. Oh shit. I just realized I didn't have enough energy. Ended up not being able to dodge this. And this dome, which I can move with my spacebar, wherever my cursor is and I hold spacebar, this is where the dome goes. This makes the enemies take 25% extra damage. So this is good for bosses. You pop it on the boss and then you do your teleports. This is the best build on the mage to use if you want to gear up for other builds. So if you want to farm gear for other builds, probably it's best to use this one. It gives you such clearing speed that even if you're not doing the hardest difficulties, having this clearing speed trumps anything, because more kills per hour means more chances of getting a tier 5 green item per hour. But yeah, when you reach certain nodes, you're gonna need help. I needed help. I needed help in rank 19 invasion on some nodes. I just couldn't push it with the mage. I couldn't push past certain nodes. Regardless of what build I've tried any build. I've tried the most tanky build ever with like 200% damage reduction or whatever. And it was a node where the enemies could constantly use their skills. They didn't have a limit of how often they could use their skills. What that meant is there was this damage over time skill that I just couldn't deal with. I just couldn't deal with them using that damage over time skill all the time. And yeah, I needed some help and one person helped me. One of the people every now and then plays the game. But currently you don't even need to push that high in the invasions. Rank 19, rank 28 are fine. 37, 46 are a bit of an overkill, and 55 is probably almost impossible unless you do it with a team to unlock it. I mean, it's easy to do the easy nodes, but once you reach 46 invasions, you definitely would need someone to help you with some of the nodes. The same goes for the higher ones. And as long as you have someone in the team, you can just revive and do damage. As long as you don't die at the same time, the boss eventually will die. That's how it works in this game. You need to make sure one of you is in the map and it's not dying, and then everyone else would be able to revive. Paying money, of course, or fragments, but they're still gonna be able to revive. And the boss would not reset, as long as one of you stays near him and keeps him in combat. If you want to use your range, I've included this one here. Big chest and greeny green. Oh, and we can't pick it up because, yeah, when I'm teleporting I end up picking some of the trash gear on the way pretty often. I wish there was a filter to disable my ability to pick up yellow and red stuff. Let's see here. And thank you Dalton for the sub, dude. Thank you for the sub. And there are definitely gonna be more walls and videos for me soon. I'm just the person that didn't wanna be doing build videos before the game launches. Cause I've done that for other games, and then on day one of the release those build videos were kind of so outdated and so bad, it was just misleading people, so I wanted to avoid this. Wanted to avoid people finding videos of mine that have been from 1 month ago, before the launch or something like that. I mean, it's fine if I started making build videos like 2-3 months before the launch of Wolsen, I definitely would have been making some, but at this point, when there's not much time left, I decided to just take my time experimenting in Wolsen, figure out some builds, and as a foundation of the builds I want to be doing on launch. And I already have a few ideas from the things that they showed us as teasers of upcoming skills and skill modifiers. So I already have some ideas. I just want to see the passive trees, and I'm assuming they're probably gonna tease the passive trees shortly before the launch. They've already showed us some modifiers that we can pick in the passive trees, in the gates of fate as they're called. Yeah, I don't need this. And I probably don't need those trousers, but I wanna check. Morvo set was my number 2. Huh. The armor is pretty low, the HP is lower. Yeah, this is for sale. Then ult 1. Ult 1, let's check. Well, there's no damage. That's enough to make me sell it. Okay. Yeah, nothing to sell more. Well, let's do this one then. And I'm intentionally pushing down because it's a bit harder than the other nodes I can do. The other nodes I can do on the sides go all the way to very hard or to chaos 1. And that's not gonna be fun. They're the boring ones that feel like a bother to do every time. I wish this game would do something about this mod to be able to pick harder versions of the easy things. So this node is Chaos 2. Okay, keep it minimum of Chaos 2, but let me make it Chaos 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make it a higher rank, so I can get this node done on higher rank all the way to Chaos 6, not Chaos 7 or 8 for balancing reasons. But let me make this node harder and be able to do it on a harder difficulty for more challenge and more wood quality if I want to. Keep Chaos 2 as the minimum, so each node could have its current difficulty as the minimum difficulty, but allow people to make it harder. I think this would be a great addition to invasions. It's gonna be a great addition to invasions. I mean, I always have shit tons of ideas for any game I play. If you give me enough time with the game, especially ARPGs, I could give you tons of ideas about skills, about how to improve certain things that don't feel right at the moment. And this game has a lot of things that can be improved, that feel okay, but are not there quite there yet. I think something that's easy to make as endgame mode, probably, in terms that it doesn't require huge maps. It doesn't require you to make huge maps, would be a survival mode. You just need a big arena, square, circle, whatever shape you want to make it. Make a big arena where you're defending against multiple enemies coming on waves, getting harder and harder. Maybe each 5 waves getting a mini boss fight like the end of map bosses, and getting more and more elites at the end of each wave until the 5th one, and then the next after the 5th again, resetting back to less elites and progressively getting more elites and a boss, and progressively getting harder, but also increasing the rewards. And then at the end, each 5 waves maybe a checkpoint, exactly like the Crucible in Grim Dawn. I mean, I've said it multiple times, the Crucible in Grim Dawn is one of my favorite end game modes. It's something that you can jump into, you can do a bit, you can bail out as soon as you think you've earned enough rewards. And it doesn't seem to require too much to make this mod. I know that coding takes ages, and it's not something you can just whip up in a couple of months. But it's definitely a mode that Wosen, this game, Torchlight, those are games that can definitely benefit from a survival mode, similar to the Crucible in Grimdown. And something I've never seen done in an ARPG is a payload based endgame. The only thing that has something close to payload is the Delph in Path of Exile. The Delph in Path of Exile is something similar to what my idea of a payload mode is. Payload mode is you kind of have to escort some goods from point A to point B, with maybe checkpoint A1 and checkpoint A2 or whatever you want to call it, 2 checkpoints or 3 checkpoints in the middle, and each checkpoint being a fight that's progressively stronger, like an ambush. Let's say you get an ambush, and let's say your character is equipped with some sort of shield to protect the goods. So you get ambushed, the character drops the shield on the ground, it makes like a shield around the... It could be a dome, it could be anything, a magic shield that protects the goods for a few seconds, until the fight lasts. And let's say you only have a limited number of those, so just to make sense why you're not using this shield all the time. To make sense why that is, you're only using it for those ambushes. So let's say there's 2 or 3 ambushes, so you have 2 or 3 shields. And you kind of stop moving, the payload stops, and it pops up that shield, and then you start fighting some elites in the first ambush. Elites with regular enemies. Then in the second ambush, it becomes stronger. More elites and maybe 2 waves. Or 3 waves, or whatever waves you want to call it, of enemies coming for a few moments. And then on the third one, it's a boss fight. And when you reach the final destination, there's gonna be the biggest boss fight or whatever. Someone that you need to defend against. Something like this would be very fun. And you're still gonna be probably fighting some enemies, and maybe depending on how quick you completed it, you can get better scores and better rewards. Maybe there should be HP of the goods that can go down while it's traveling between point A and checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2 and checkpoint 2 and point B, something like that. I've already written this months ago in the Torchlight forums as an idea, and I've already written the other ideas in the Torchlight forums as a suggestion of an endgame mode that could be fun. I mean, give me enough time to brainstorm, and I can come up with at least 20 different types of endgame content that would be fun in an ARPG. And of course, probably it would sound stupid and imbalanced, and I'm not the person probably to come up with the balancing changes. But I can come up with many things that have never been done or have been done, but we can do differently. And the Delph in Path of Exile kind of sounds similar to what I'm talking about, but the Delph is kind of taking it on a whole another level. Yeah, you still have different nodes where you stop and you defend against certain waves, but the payload doesn't have HP, it's not timed there. So you don't get less points if the payload takes damage there. And you don't have to worry about it, it's just going there, and then there's the whole darkness, so it's taking it to a whole another level there. And what I'm thinking about is something more simplified, just a simple escort of let's say a merchant, or not a merchant but maybe a blacksmith or whatever, some sort of NPC who needs our help to protect him, delivering goods from one frontier until the other, or from one zone to the other, from one town to the other. So you can use the enemies from one town. If let's say the game has 3 acts like Wolsen or Torchlight 3, you take the enemies from, for example, the Goblin frontier and the enemies from the Highwit frontier, and make a mission, make an endgame version that gets us to help the merchant transfer goods from one to the other. Let's say from the goblin to the Hivit. So from the first few waves we would probably get goblins. Then for the next one we would probably get Hivit and goblin, and for the final one probably a Hivit enemy only. So let's say in the middle there could be goblins and Hivit enemies from two frontiers fighting each other and us. Something like that. But of course there should be a way that you shouldn't go too far away from it to avoid getting the enemies to kill each other. So they should prioritize you. Maybe. But even if you remove the part where they're fighting each other, that's fine. Maybe it could be someone else entirely controlling the enemies, like it could be the Netherrim controlling the enemies from both different frontiers, wanting to steal the goods, the research, or the supplies, whatever. There's many ways. I mean, with enough time, I can think about so many things. And the same goes from walls, and we can maybe be transporting things from Stormfall until the second act city, if there is a second city at all. Maybe there's just one city. But transporting goods from one place to the other, defending it against the Sphere or the Flayers. And I've never seen something similar except Delve. In a way, that's the only thing that comes close. But I've not played every single ARPG there is. I've not played Last Epoch, as I said, so I have no idea what the end game there is like. I've played, what's its name? I've played Lost Ark, and even there it doesn't have things like that, but maybe I haven't played for long enough to confirm. Alright, should I push lower? Let's say go all the way here, maybe. All the way there. It's midnight. 12 AM. 0000 right now. So I'm gonna do another half an hour, 40 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna have to go for dinner. Because I still haven't had dinner. Started streaming around 8 in the evening or so. His breath against mine. Which one stinks more? Mine burns, his one seems a bit toxic. What would you rather have? A bread that burns or a bread that's toxic? Against you. Kinda reminds me of my PE teacher in elementary school. We used to say her breath is toxic. When we had, because I was on the basketball team back then in elementary school, and she and her husband were the coaches. And when she was briefing us before a game or something like that, we used to joke about her breath being toxic when she gets close to us. So kind of like this demon here. I'm gonna have to drop those. I can pause now, by the way. I can pause because since I walked out and picked a different character, the game is no longer public. So this is very similar to what I'm wearing. Like The only difference is less armor, slightly less armor, barely noticeable, but the problem is it doesn't give wood quality. So for my damage set, probably not good. What about the other one? Oh, for the other set, it's definitely not good enough. Again, if you want some wood, hit me up, guys. I can always give you some. I know the trick of finding the item yourself is good, but you can still have the trick of trying to find a min-maxed better item than the one I can give you. Just gonna quickly heal myself. There we go. I need to get some energy because I can't teleport without it. Okay, I think I'm done. Let's go for the boss.
Knowledge is power.
Nice. Another run, no wood. Did I pick up any junk? Yeah, let's do those two nodes. If you wanna see something different, feel free to ask me. I've got different setups. Just this one is the fastest for farming something as easy as this difficulty. When I go to harder difficulties, I change the build to something different, but for this one, I just prefer doing that. I prefer doing the fastest. As you can see, the mobility on this build is unmatched by any other on any other quest. You don't have a more mobile build in the game than this for speed running. And since I can leave damage on the ground when I travel, I can just let the enemies die from the AoEs. I can even make it even quicker if I want to. I'm actually trying to be slower, otherwise you won't be able to see what's happening. It's just gonna be the screen moving left, right, left, right. Ah, no energy, shit. Okay, got it. Wasted my energy. I need to remember to keep using my basic attacks for energy. Alright, champion. This is gonna be a horde. So look, this game already has the setup for survival. It has those circular arenas in the invasion. So the setup for a survival mode is there. You have the circular arenas. You can kind of maybe expand those a little. Expand them, make some obstacles like things you could hide behind to avoid projectiles. I'm gonna die a few times here because those enemies deal shit tons of damage over time. That's one of the most annoying enemies they've designed in this game. This floating demon. Basically, when you kill him, on your feet, under your feet, regardless where you are, some fires would appear and they would damage you. And there is no way to avoid those. The only way to avoid this is maybe on the Slayer with the invulnerability skill. And that's kind of how it is. Okay, now I killed him, so it's just me and the boss. Should be a bit easy. So this is the fire. I'm gonna have to avoid it. Okay, let's bail out a bit. shit. No, 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 no. I'm waiting for my potion. Here probably I would need to change my build for this fight. Okay, there's my potion. Now, shit, and I lost my energy. Should have preserved it a bit better. Now all the things I waited for my energy to be ready, it's no longer. If only there were more of those little guys to hit for energy with basic attacks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just die and try again. It's gonna be easier that way anyways. Did I kill him? Yes, I did, finally. Okay, next. Well, that's getting tough, because that's 6% HP loss per second. And I don't have those. This is 15% less of that, 15% less. So I can get up to 60% reduction to the corruption. So if it's 10% corruption like this one, that's gonna mean if I get all those notes, it's gonna be only 4%. What I just did now was 5% HP loss per second. I'm gonna do those here. And if you wanna see the soldier, the slayer or the scout, feel free to let me know in chat, and I can until the end of the stream today play some other class. If this seems boring to you, I don't mind showing you different setups, different builds. If you wanna see a different build on the mage, I can switch my gear and my passives. It takes one click when I'm in the town. When I'm in the outpost, I can just click once and it immediately switches it. It's pretty handy. Okay, bracers, no trousers. Trousers for the Morvo set. Okay. Not sure if you've noticed, but I'm healing every time I use this because I'm using energy. So the more energy I use, the more HP I get. That's why cost reduction for builds like that does not help us. It does help in a way, but it's better to not have as much cost reduction. Because less cost reduction means more healing for us. What's the wood quality? 5.6 thousand. Let's get some energy before the boss fight. I want to make sure I've got plenty. This is kind of like in Wosen's, as I said earlier, like Wosen's transformation, the apocalyptic form, except we don't change our form, only our skill bar changes. Each class has their own. But in Wosen, I'm assuming the apocalyptic forms, we would be just able to pick one from the 4, maybe somewhere on the passive 3, or maybe somewhere on the active. I'm not sure exactly where, but I know we would be able to pick between 4 different apocalyptic forms. And since there's no classes in Wosen in its traditional sense, in the traditional meaning of the word, and the classes are decided based on what passives you're selecting, I'm wondering where those apocalyptic forms would fit in. I think it's the one we got right now, this one. I don't need it. And the other one was... shit, I forgot. The other one was... Was it leg armor? Leg armor for Morvo. Oh no, that's the wrong set. This one. More resistance, good for invasions. No. I don't think I want this either. Let's sell it. Morvo's boots. No, again, wrong set. So the HP is more, the resistance is more, the armor is barely any different. There's wood quality, there isn't energy though, and I think Morvo is best played when there is some energy. But there is no... Yeah, it's tough choice. Might keep them for now. What about those Ultuan boots? Why do I have them here? Why do I have more than one pair? More armor, less HP, more energy, kinda same speed, more wood quality, less counter attack damage. Okay, so I have those. I think what needs to be fixed, by the way, on the mage is something needs to be boosted to make it very fun. I think mage builds with this skill would be very fun. Not this skill would be very fun when they fix them. This one cannot give you as much damage as you want. Like, even when you get 30-40,000 counter-attack damage, this doesn't give a lot of damage, and it definitely needs to be boosted. Because currently, what's my counter-attack damage? 4,000, and for 4,000 it's giving me what, 8%? So it's gonna be 80% only. 80% only when you max it out. In regards, maybe even 60-70 when you max out your counter-attack damage on a mage, and that means sacrificing a lot of damage just to get it. Alright, let's go back to the farming. We got a few more minutes. Let's go this way. Okay, any chest here? Oh, big chest, horny chest, and very nicely starting this map. I'm gonna die. Don't die. Don't die, little mage. Survive some more, there we go. Managed to wait for the potion. Oh, I didn't open this? Okay, now I did. Here. And let's bail out, it's gonna die. Oh, there we go. Few more maps. And this one, if you're using this setup with the red items, I think Chaos 3-4 would probably be the limit with only red items. If you're not doing invasions. Like Chaos 3-4 Relicants, maybe on Chaos 5 Relicants would be doable without dying if you've got red items only. There we go. No elite. Oh, actually there is one. Let's kill it. Wait, I think the boss is here. No, it's not. Did I open a big chest in this map? I think here at the beginning there was a big chest. But I can't remember if it was a big or a medium one. Wait a second, my pet woke up and made a weird sound. Maybe he had a nightmare pet. You okay? Ah, he's fine. He's fine. Oh, you have it on PS4. Well, there's no crossplay in this game. But if you need some hints, tips, feel free to ask. Unfortunately, I can't give you gear if there's no crossplay, if you're on PS4. But I can suggest some setups you can use for farming, some hints. So any questions you have, and also welcome to my channel, Jin Hey. Nice to have you on my YouTube. Let's see, quick trade. I think I picked up some wood by accident. I'm gonna be doing some more maps today, and there's not much left because it's 22 past midnight. Should we end it at 30 or at 40 past midnight? We'll see. You have level 50, yeah, level 50 is easy. I mean, it takes between 3.5 and 5-6 hours to finish the story and to level up to 50. When it comes to build making, that's what I'm suggesting. If you need some hints regarding what builds to go for farming and what builds to go for pushing. The build I'm using right now is not a build for pushing, it's built for farming. You use it to farm with the lower difficulty, Chaos 3, 4, 5. I've even done some Chaos 6 with this, that's not impossible. Hell, I've even done Chaos 7 with this build without farming gear. Without farming gear, I've done Chaos 7, of course, not on invasions. First of all, there's no Chaos 7 on invasions. but this build is best used in Chaos 3, 4, 5. Relic Hunts or in Chaos 3, 4, 5. Actually in Chaos up to Chaos 4 invasions is fine. Maybe Chaos 5 invasions would be fine if it's rank 10, but as soon as it hits rank 19 or 28, it's definitely not worth it. Also, one thing to know about invasions, don't start from rank 1, start from rank 10. After rank 10, move to rank 19. After rank 19, move to rank 28. So always go for the highest you can go. And the only thing worth noting, I'm gonna show you in a moment, is in the town how to collect invasion rewards. So let's say you start from rank 10 and you get you unlock the ring, but you don't click on the ring. You go back to rank 1. You click on the ring on rank 1, you get it on rank 1. Then you do the same for rank 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then finally you collect the reward on rank 10. So you push and unlock stuff on the highest you can do, and then once you unlock the stuff for collection, you go on the lowest one that can collect it, because that's how it works. If you complete something in the higher rank, it gets unlocked on the lower ranks as well. So I'm gonna open the map and just show you, explain while I'm saying it. I do have a video about how this works, but I can just give you the basics. So let's say I complete this one on rank 28. That means it's gonna be completed for me to 20. You can see it's exactly the same. So whatever I complete on 28 gets completed on 27, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So all those get completed. So when you unlock this ring here, when you go on rank 28 and unlock this ring and this, just don't click them. Do not click them. Switch back to the wallet. So you're gonna start on rank 10. And you're gonna unlock those rings. But complete this and this, but don't click on those yet. Then you go back to 1 and then you start collecting them. That would give you, instead of just 1 reward, it's gonna give you 10 rewards, 10 rings. I've done the mistake not knowing that it works like that, on going to rank 10, completing this, then collecting this by clicking on it, which gives you a ring in your inventory, and then what happens is on ranks 1 through 9 this is already collected and I've lost 9 rings. So just warning you, this is probably one of the best advice I can give to someone starting invasions who doesn't know how it works. First, it's gonna save you a lot of time in not having to complete all 10 ranks at once, and after that all 9 ranks at once. You wouldn't have to complete rank 1 completely to 100%, then rank 2, etc. You can only just do rank 10 and get the 10 rewards, then do rank 19, get 9 rewards, rank 28, get 9 rewards. It goes by 9 every time. It's a good way. And you're still getting a lot of rings. And you do want to be getting a lot of rings because the RNG is not always on your side. And if you want a min-maxed ring, green ring, like the rings you can get from the invasions are 3 rings. Ring of Resonance, a great one for many builds that use cooldowns. Ring of Dexterity, probably good for builds that use skills like Phantom Blade as the main source, and it's only energy generating skills, so this ring gives you 100% extra damage with those basic skills. It doesn't increase the damage of other skills that generate energy, unfortunately. And then the third ring you can get from there gives you 10% dodge chance. Definitely an underwhelming ring. It's still kind of medium. It's a bit better, but it's medium. It's not much better, but at least you have more things to do, you have more variety of things to do in regards to not being the exact same repetitive maps There's a bit more layouts, but the problem for me is not with the map layouts being the same, it's with the map layouts being the same location every time. That's my problem. There was a whack of different locations, and there still is whack of different locations. In each act there's 2-3 locations that you get as map places, and that's it. Sometimes it's the same map just starting from the back and going to the start, or sometimes it's the same map but with slightly different rearrangement of the tiles. But you do have some new things to use, and there was a bit more rebalancing done, but the game needs a lot more rebalancing, and it needs a complete rework of the item system, because it's very limiting. Having only 4 set pieces, I mean, 4 set pieces is pretty limiting for a class. That means you would only have builds centered around those 4 sets. And each set gives you a heroic skill or passive skill, so you would be making your build around this heroic skill or passive skill, and it's pretty limiting. You have more items though. You have items like this one. Where is it? Blade of Azire. And this Blade of Azire gives you a heroic phantom blade. So you can chuck this one into another set. You have different sets which you can switch between while in the town. So you have set number 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can either have different sets, or you can have different builds of the same set. So you can have your what's it called, a Dragon Tamer on 1, you can have the War Master on 3, Morvo on 2, etc., whatever you want. And this gives you extra heroic skills. So you can see at the moment I'm using 3 heroic skills. Wow, the Tomb King not launching in Brazil yet. That's a bit weird. And then you have this scepter. Actually I can't show it to you, but there's a scepter that gives you the heroic ethereal breath, changing it to magic from fire. And that gives you extra skill points, and with those extra skill points you can equip some more passives. Currently I'm doing a passive setup for farming, not for DPSing, so not what you might want to be using. But yeah, Chaosbane has been a bit slow, but it's getting a bit faster when it comes to releasing updates on console. It took them a bit longer for this one, for the Tomb Kings, but still was faster than the others. But it was around the holidays, so they had like what, 2-3 weeks of holidays, and still delivered with just a month delay. The patch, but I'm hoping they would deliver us the new class, the Dwarven Engineer, soon. I really want to see it. Probably around the end of this month or start of next month would be the best time. At least for me it would be the best time, because I would have had some time to play with Wolsen and the things Wolsen can offer on launch. But I'm not ashamed to say it's better to buy Wolsen than this game. If you wanna make a choice for a game to buy in the genre, just buy Wolsen for now. This game is probably worth buying on a sale if you don't expect too much from it. It can give you some fun times, but don't expect the end game content of Wolsen here. Don't expect anything near Diablo 3 or Path of Exile from this game. Whereas Wolsen can trade some punches with Diablo 3, and even in my book it wins. Especially with the things we're gonna get on launch. It's just more fun for me, more variety of builds. So much many more builds can be made in Wolsen once the game launches, based off what we've seen from the articles that have been released. That is just phenomenal. And the more build variety it is, the more in demand a game would be. People love different builds. There are different people who love different playstyles. So the more variety you have, the more people would enjoy your game, and some people enjoy switching between one build and another every now and then instead of sticking to the same one all the time. So let's compare. Armor piercing cooldown 13-15. This doesn't have cooldown. Armor piercing crit damage. Yeah, without cooldown, I mean that's gonna be fine for a build that doesn't need cooldown, like an Azire build. I think it's better to just sell this one. Let's compare. Yeah, I don't need this, no HP. More Out one does need some HP. And I think I got some other stuff that didn't show up on the front page. This one didn't show in the front page. And this is what I'm saying about switching builds. So you can go to your god skills and switch the builds to your liking. It switches the skills, it switches the passive skills, the god skills, the active skills, and it switches the items that you're wearing by. So this is a little bit of quality of life change that they added. But the items are still in your inventory, they still take weight. And I think 80 weight is a bit cheap. They should have allowed us to carry more and given us a lot more storage. 80 weight here and 100 here. I mean, come on, the storage for 4 characters being 100 weight seems like very cheap way of making it. I would have made it at least 400, 100 for each, and then when releasing the 5th class, add another 100 on it. And I would have made the character weight to 80 as well. Especially if you want people to be carrying items. If you want people to be carrying 4 sets worth of items, that means 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's 10 items. That's 40 items that someone would be carrying if he has all 4 of them filled. That's taking half of the storage. So they might have needed to just add those 40. So instead of 80, it would have been better to have it 120. To still have the 80 items there, but to have the 40 being separate. So let's compare this with what I've got. Armor. That's 400 armor, that's a what? 400 armor, it's roughly around few thousand HP. Let me check quickly. I wanna check, so armor. I think I'm gonna check it this way. The armor to HP ratio. So 900 armor equals 600 HP roughly. And this one is 400 and something armor less, so that's like 3000 HP less roughly. But the other stuff is not bad. I mean, movement speed is fine. And there's wood quality, counterattack and energy. I really don't need much counterattack and energy on the Caledor. Ah, fuck it, I'm just gonna get rid of it. Alright, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more maps. Let's do 1 more map. Final map of the day. Getting this corruption resistance. Oh shit, wrong build. Wrong build. Tomorrow I will be streaming some Borderlands 3, checking the improvements. Haven't had much time to play it because I've been busy with the hack and swashes. But if anyone plays it, we could team up tomorrow. Maybe do some runs together, farm some stuff. There's an event that increases the drop rates on chests, red chests. And they've permanently boosted some of the spawns of the rare enemies. They've permanently added the scaling for the takedown rates. But one of my biggest problems with Borderlands is how much time is needed to get a good meta min-max setup farmed for. Like, the amount of time you need to invest on this bad RNG there, with this RNG on top of RNG to get a good min-max setup is amazingly much. And they just, I'm not sure why they even needed to add Mayhem 4. Why did they even need to add extra difficulty? Let's see. Nothing good this map. Well, that's gonna be it. It's 39 past midnight, getting a bit late, and I wanna watch a movie, have my dinner, and maybe play some Torchlight 3. But unfortunately, since I can't stream Torchlight 3, I'm gonna have to wait for the NDA to get lifted to share all my experiences through that time. So thanks everyone for watching, keep it cool, until next time, and see you around folks. Goodbye.